Calling all sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy.
Guys are hot.
On Fox Sports 910.
Hey, everybody, welcome in. We say good afternoon to you on a game day, and we are here in Glendale at the Twin Peaks. It is Jimmy B, it is Manuch, it is Jax, and Roc is not feeling well, so he's
under the weather,
missing the show here. We hope that he's back by tomorrow.
We said, look, take the day off because you hardly ever take any days off whatsoever. But he's on assignment a lot. So
he is on assignment.
Take the day off, just relax, just chill out.
Drink lots of Gatorade, get those electrolytes.
A lot of emergency.
There you go.
Help the emergency, the vitamins, all the above. Just chill out. So hopefully we'll see him mañana.
Yeah.
Are you feeling it though?
I am feeling
Game day.
Yeah.
Jax, former Montana Grizz.
Yeah.
The Saints fans. You got
They're already
Cardinal
here.
fans.
They're already here. Yeah.
They are here. As a matter of fact, last time we were here on a Thursday, that was last year, when the Green Bay Packer Cheeseheads invaded Twin Peaks out here at Glendale. There hasn't been any invasion of New Orleans Saints fans quite yet.
Not yet.
Out here at Twin Peaks.
But they expect that.
Yeah, they will. But I don't know. Anytime it's game day and you're in the vicinity, I don't know. I just kind of feel it, Jax. I'm fired up. I'm looking to hit somebody. I mean, throw a touchdown pass.
No, more like an interception.
Well, I do throw that first one on purpose.
Yeah, sure you do.
just to get that hit out of my system. That's what I do. It's what I tell people. I threw the first one out because I got to get that out of my system.
Yeah.
Now, once I hit somebody and get all that angst out of my system,
now you're ready?
I'm good.
Well, let me tell you, I got the chills pulling up to Twin Peaks, seeing the stadium in the background, too. We're about maybe a 10-minute walk from the stadium.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good atmosphere here tonight.
Well, for me, it's a driver 3-wood 9-iron. And for me,
it's just a driver and a wedge.
For you, it's just getting a cart and drive for for 15 minutes. You kidding me?
All right, let's go.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. It is the game this evening. But, fellas, there are rumblings from national media sources. This is national media sources that are talking about if indeed the Cardinals stumble in this game and New Orleans wins this game, that Cliff Kingsbury at that particular time could be ousted, and the name that is circulating the most is Sean Payton.
It's interesting, Jimmy. We were talking about that during our show prep this morning, and Colin Cowherd who talked about it. He was on prior to Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B. Talked about it quite extensively. There was rumblings also on ESPN. You watched the reports today, talking about today's game. Some of the pundits, so-called pundits, saying, "Is this a hot seat game for Cliff Kingsbury?" I don't know. Anytime you hear that kind of chatter, there's got to be, if there's smoke, there's fire, right?
Exactly.
So I think as far, I like Cliff. The play calling is, this team is underachieving.
Yes. The
play calling, the game management is just, it's horrible at best. Okay. They are very lucky. They're 2-3 versus 0-5 right now. It's just one of those situations. It's going to be 2-4. It's one of those situations. You look at this team, you've got a lot of talent. There's just miscommunication. There's mismanagement. There's a lot of stuff going on into your fourth year, guys.
That's it.
That you should not see with your fourth-year quarterback. So I feel the Cardinals, should win tonight. I think they should win going away. I feel they should win by at least 10 points. They should. If they don't win this game and all the rumors out there are true, could, as they say in Texas, could be seeing a change.
Well, against a depleted Saints team as well. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore is out. That's huge.
Jarvis Landry's out.
Yep. Jarvis Landry's
Michael
out.
Thomas is out.
Yep.
Andrews Pete is out, your left tackle.
They got issues.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think, and also for the quarterback scenario, I believe it's a game-time decision. Sounds as though it'd probably Andy Dalton, Taysom Hill, and then Jameis Winston if an emergency scenario arises.
Right.
So they're more banged up than the Cardinals. I mean, we got mash units on both sides of the field. But all that being said, you've got D-Hop coming back.
You do.
Robbie Anderson, what's the latest in reference to how much he may or may not play, Jax? You saw
Yeah,
that?
they said 10 to 15% of snaps tonight. I believe that'll probably be around maybe 20 plays.
Right.
You would think. But
they're not going to put D-Hop on a pitch count. He's going to play.
Oh, he's going to play, period.
I mean, he has to play now. He may need a blow once in a while.
That's it, yeah.
But I don't think I'll see him coming across the middle anytime soon. Maybe on hook routes, maybe safe dig routes or that kind of thing. But on the others for the Cardinals, you got your centers out. You got your left guard is out.
Yep.
Hollywood Brown is out.
He is.
You've got Gardeck is out on the defensive side. I think Zaven Collins will be a game-time decision. Jalen Thompson's out. So there's a lot of depth that's going to have to come in and play for this Cardinals team. I feel better about the defense than I do about the offense performance.
Okay, and here's another important factor is that Matt Prater listed as questionable, and he most likely will be a game-time decision as well. They'll see how he is kicking prior to the start of the game tonight.
If he is good from 40 to 45 and he can handle that with the hip,
yes,
then I think they'll go with them.
I agree with
because, guys, and we'll get into this in the second segment, my keys, there's some things field goal-wise they're going to have to do because I think points are going to be tough to get against this Saints defense.
They're good.
So you got to get them.
Yeah.
Especially early on in the game. I don't care if you get 10 field goals. As long as you win the damn game, I think Cliff Kingsbury will back off on the 4th and 3, 4th and 4, 4th and 2. And if you've got a kicker if he's reliable, Matt Prater, by the way, he's my fantasy kicker, so he's got to play. I need any points I can get. Jeez.
You are sucking upon
oh, my gosh. I got smoked last week, by the way. But I think that if he's within 35 to 40, 45 yards, you got to kick it. You got to kick. You got to get the extra. You got to get the field goal.
You're going to have to get points. I mean, you can't leave points on the board and not convert a 4th and 2 on 4th down.
And guys, I thought last week was one of the most mismanaged games. I'm going to say Cliff Kingsbury's tenure to leave. He left, as far as I'm concerned, whether Amendola is accurate or not, he left 9 points on the board. And you look at that 19-9, it's 19-18. So maybe you have a chance to come back, get a field goal, and win the game. So I think, he kicks it left, he kicks it right. So what? Maybe the guy finds lightning in the bottle, hits 3 in a row. You know what I mean? Maybe it's 3 or 4 in a row.
Sure.
It's hot. Kicker's a little mentally irregular. So if he's on, he's on.
You're mentally irregular.
Well, I'll take that. Any way I can get it.
I mean, if Dustin Hopkins from the Chargers can hit 40-yard, 43-yarder with one leg.
With a bad hammy.
You think Amendola or even Blankenship, if he plays tonight, watch out for the specs, folks. He's a young kid.
Specs.
25 years old from Georgia. I think he's good. I think this is rebound game if he does play.
You know what? And he had a good year last year.
Yeah.
He just fell in a funk. And the National Football League is not for long for kickers if you're having a couple bad games.
That is correct. Unless you're Crosby with Green Bay, who had that awful year and they stayed with him, and then he came back like it never ever happened.
Crosby's been kicking for 30 years.
He has been.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got a strong leg.
He does.
He's a guy that if he gets back in sync, they never gave up on him. But here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers was covering for him by getting key first downs.
That is true.
And getting him in a little closer range. So Aaron Rodgers in that offense kind of covered for him until he got back on track. And he did. He got back on track. So that's one of those things where you've got to get the points if you're in field goal range.
We got a lot of stuff coming up. That's a media term that means we have a lot of information for you throughout our 3 hours. A lot of stuff on the way. Let's get quickly to the Suns game last night. We were enthralled with that game, and it was a 20-point lead at one time for the Dallas Mavericks. The Suns pretty much listless in the first half, but then in the second half, things started to get going a little bit, and then they end up winning the game on an incredible shot by Damon Lee. Here's the call on ESPN.
Booker out front, guarded by the Mavericks' best perimeter defender, Finney Smith. Khalifa switches on to Booker's shot clock at 10. There's the double team. They take it out of Booker's hands. Booker again to Lee. Lee with the drive. Tough shot. Oh! Unbelievable! An implausible shot by Lee. twice.
That's a great call because it was implausible. He's falling down to his right and just gets enough of a step back to arch it over the defender's arm. By the way, it was terrific defense.
Smith was all over.
He was. It was a great defensive stand right there by the Mavericks, but the shot goes in.
Yeah, I got to tell you what. And when he's saying that Book doesn't have the ball, I'm going, well, he's going to kick it back to Book, right? He gets manned up. Hit that three prior to Jimmy.
Yep.
So he comes down. He's feeling it.
Yeah, he was.
And he's falling back. I'm going, no, where's Book? And I went, what? Oh, nice. So you got to like that Damon Lee, man, making the shot. And where was CP3 the last 6 minutes?
Sitting on the bench.
He was on the bench. Campaign running the show those last 6 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you, I listened to Monty Williams afterwards, and he said he normally tries to give Chris Paul a rest at about the 6 minute mark and then bring him in for the final 2 to 3 minutes of the game. But when he had Cam Johnson on there and they fought their way back and their offense was in just running excellently at that time and they were solid defensively, he did not change. Here's what Lee had to say after hitting the game-winning shot last night.
They went to go send a double, hit at Book. We knew that was coming. That was sort of, marinating the whole game. So for us, it was just a matter of what was the best shot. And Book passed it to me. Kel, I believe, cut through. I swung it back to Book to, make sure that he was going to have the last shot. Just understanding and just reading the game, he got it going second half. Ball was in my hands under 7 seconds ago. Just go make a play. Got to my spot. I think if you'll see on the replay, Dinwiddie kind of like tugged at my arm a little bit as I go to kind of got him off a little bit. And whatever happened from there happened. I mean, made it, got a win in the left column, so we'll take it.
There you go. That was the winning shot and the explanation, and it was a terrific play. Luka Doncic
2 minutes.
had in the first half an unbelievable up and under move, and then at the other end of the court in the second half, he's falling down as well and drops it in.
And more important, Jimmy, you missed the whole thing there. Damon Lee's been listening to Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B because he hears me talking about marinating all the time.
Oh, God, I knew you were going to say
because he said he let that
it up. I
Jimmy.
didn't want to bring it
Hold on,
up.
Jimmy. Just
man.
take about a 5-hour break, would you please?
Golly.
Okay. So he heard him say he had to let the play marinate a little bit. So I'm glad to see that Damon Lee, the new son, is tuning in to Roc and Manuch. But to your point, he wanted to kick it back out.
He did.
But he was 7 seconds. He's like, I knew where to go.
1 minute.
D-man's all over him. Dinwiddie's arms must be 10 feet long, by the way. I mean, he did like a parallel fall back, go to sleep shot.
Yeah.
I mean, to your point, he was fading right.
Yep.
He fade right, put that up there, and you're like, oh, man. But that kid comes in the game, because the bench only had, 21 points?
But he had 11 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Lead.
Yeah. But, you said Cameron Smith in the game.
Yep.
You had him. You had Campaign in the game.
Right.
They were feeling it.
Cam Johnson.
Sorry. They were feeling it. So I'm like, hey, Marnie, way to let him play it out. And I think that was very smart of him. And CP3's like, hey, look, you're in good hands.
Right. All right, we're going to come back here to Twin Peaks after a quick timeout. Lots of Saints fans already have entered the building as they continue to pour in here. We are at Twin Peaks in Glendale. We will be here until 4 o'clock. When we come back, much more as we get you ready for tonight's matchup in the NFL as the Cardinals will entertain the New Orleans Saints. It's Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B along with Jax today on Fox Sports 910.
Meant for mornings. The Drive with Jody Ayler. Listen tomorrow, 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910.
Excited to be able to throw him the ball again. You know what I'm saying? Never took that for granted. But, man, I'm just happy for him. Team is definitely, appreciative of having him back. So it's not a miracle thing that just, everything's, gone. We still got things we got to be better at. Still got things we need to fix. Obviously, having him back definitely helps.
You guys are hot. 5 seconds.
But we still got to be better in all the areas that we're, not good in right now.
That is Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray discussing the return of wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. No, he is not a miracle worker, but it will be a little more comfortable for Murray with him back in the lineup.
I think that's the most enthusiasm I've heard from Kyler Murray in a midweek presser in a long, long time. Was that big sigh of relief when D-Hop walked in the building on Monday? Did you hear that come out of Hardy and Warner? Was that the Cardinals offense? Was that Kyler Murray? No, he's not a miracle worker, but he will help this offense. And if you put a percentage, how much more of a percentage will he help this offense? I got at least 10 to 15% more juice within the game, because all of a sudden, not only does he help you physically, but all of a sudden the defense has got to account for him.
Yes.
Where's he at? Where's he going?
Yep.
What's he doing? So that's all of a sudden they ain't got to worry about all the other guys. Are we going to double team him? Are we going to man-to-man? Always being aware of D-Hop is, so it's kind of a double whammy for that defensive coordinator.
I'm with you on that 100%. By the way, before we took our first commercial timeout, we discussed some of the changes that are taking place now for both teams, and Jax has got an update for you right now for the Cardinals.
The Cardinals have just activated offensive lineman Cody Ford from injured reserve, but have also elevated kicker Rodrigo Blankenship and running back Corey Clement to the active roster from the practice squad.
Now, see, that doesn't surprise me about Blankenship being activated.
Yeah, if Matt Prater can't go, he's there.
That's it.
Corey Clement was activated last week.
Yes.
So they must have deactivated him, realized that, subject to be, that he's going to activate again. So it's amazing they activate him, deactivate him, they activate him again. Special teams guy. He was all over that botched punt by Seattle last week. So, it's, again, depth is everything, guys. And that's why I'm a firm believer in you build that inactive squad, or you bring a lot of guys into camp that are familiar with your offense or your defense. When you look at what's going to happen with the defense, and keep those guys on and just make sure they're dialed in if you get activated. I mean, just like that.
Right. By the way, coming up in about 10 minutes here on the show, Ryan Leaf, the former first-round draft pick quarterback of the San Diego Chargers, now a broadcaster. In fact, he is calling tonight's game on Westwood One Radio. He is going to be our guest in roughly about 10 minutes. So, Manuch, let's get your keys to how you see this is going to play out. Let's start first with offense and quickly a synopsis with D-Hop being back.
Yeah, I think you got to get him involved early and often just to kind of get knock the rust off. Give him a 5-yard hitch, quick out, hook route, just something safe and simple. I also think the main reason for that is to get Kyler Murray going too. Give him some safe throws, some comfortable throws.
Yep.
Hey, Kyler, what are you comfortable with? The first drive. What are you not comfortable with? And so we'll get D-Hop involved. If you get Robbie Anderson involved in the game early on, maybe give him a couple short throws.
Okay.
Let's just kind of get everybody involved from that particular standpoint. That's how I see as far as the passing game. And like last week, let's just go drive down the field. Utilize your tight ends. If you're going to use your running game, the best way to run on this New Orleans Saints team is you're going to have to get on the perimeter. It's going to be tough to run between the tackle, the guard, and the tackle.
Right.
Get Eno on the perimeter. Get Ingram on the perimeter. Get Clement to whoever on the perimeter. And I think from that particular standpoint, I think that's how you keep this team at bay. Because when you have Cam Jordan in the middle, that kid's an all-pro, former Chandler High School product, it will be very tough for them to run on the inside, get him to the outside, and Eno's got a home run gear.
Yep.
He can get on the outside and get 5, 6, 7 yards. You're going to have to, and you're going to have to control the clock with that opening drive.
All right, then let me follow up with what you just referenced about the run. Do you want to see some calls for quarterback Kyler Murray as well?
I would like to see some waggles, some boots.
Okay.
I don't necessarily need a pure quarterback draw or run. I want to see them. I want to show a lot of different looks on my opening drive. I'll show the drop back. Let's boot right. Let's boot left. Let's waggle. Maybe a quarterback draw. I want the Saints to be aware of the different formations, different looks, and that Kyler's not going to be just a one-drive, a one-trick pony, and not just blow your one run on your opening drive.
With Connor and Williams out this game, Manuch, how do you see the Cardinals on 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 1 against the Saints defense? What do you think they need to do?
If you're in field goal range, kick the field goal.
Yep.
If you're midfield or anywhere deeper than that, once you get past the mid-stripe, it's very, very technical. If this is a close or field position game, I'd rather see them punt the ball away and pin New Orleans back up against their own end zone and play the field position game.
Sure.
Only problem with that is that New Orleans Saints running game is one of the best running games in the league. So they're going to pound it, they're going to pound it, they're going to pound it. And we'll get that just in a second.
All right. I just want to follow up with what we just talked about as far as Matt Prater, questionable, most likely game time decision. So what you do then, since Rodrigo, or as you would say, Rodrigo. Yes, Blankenship is now activated. From that standpoint, you have both kickers out on the field going through warm-ups?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely. Just to see Prater, if he's got any kind of discomfort, if they get to like 45 yards,
yes,
and he still has discomfort,
yep,
then I think that Rodrigo would be your guy, and I'd want to get him a lot of reps during warm-ups as well, too. Because the other thing, too, you want to get the touchback if you can, or kick it high.
Okay.
I don't know what the length of kickoffs is going to be for Matt Prater. If it's all getting to like 10 yard, the 10-yard line, well, the guy gets a running start. All of a sudden, instead of the 25, you give him a little bit better field position. Again, field position game, you got to definitely keep that in mind.
All right, now take me to the defense. The Cardinal defense under Vance Joseph has been extremely stingy the last few games that we have seen them. So you have Alvin Kamara and also Ingram. Both of those guys can run.
And Taysom Hill.
And Taysom Hill, correct. Those three guys run downhill.
Sure they do.
They do. So how is the defense got to react to that?
They're going to have to be disciplined. And I would warn Vance Joseph, don't get too cute with your stunts and blitzes, because if these two guys get to the second level, when I say second level, the running backs get into where the linebackers are, they'll get 4, 5, 6 yards of pop. And either one of them can take it to the house. Ingram slowed down a little bit, but if you start stunning and blitzing, and you get a kick-out block on a linebacker who's coming through the A-gap, he gets to the outside, he gets to the second level, and you start to gash this Cardinals defense with the run, all of a sudden, you're setting up your play action, you're setting up a better pass protection. So Vance Joseph's just got to be real careful how aggressive he's going to be.
It'll be interesting to see how Isaiah Simmons does this game, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he can contain Ingram, contain Kamara from getting to the outside, getting to the cornerbacks, because I think Marco Wilson, Byron Murphy showed he's a good tackler, but Marco Wilson, not a good tackler.
Here's the other thing, too, guys. The other thing you have to do as this defense is the Saints like to take a shot once in a while, whether it's Andy Dalton or even
Winston.
Taysom Hill or Winston. They can throw it deep.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you're running, you set that play action up, and you get a guy running a quick slant, and then he takes it up like a sluggo. Can't give up the big play.
Okay.
You can't give up the home run ball. You got to keep everything in front of you. That's why I'd run like a cover 2 shell. You can blitz, have man underneath, but more of a cover 2 shell. Just to be honest, that they don't take that shot and take the crowd out of the game. Last but not least, and the defense has been doing a good job of this, guys. They've been physical.
They have.
They've had the energy. They're going to have to keep that. But they got to keep that mantra, because you got 2 big dudes coming at you. And Taysom Hill, he's about 225 himself.
Oh, he is.
As a quarterback, running back, tight end,
I know
H-back.
he plays everything.
But you got to keep that energy, and I really feel that this defense, like last week, it's got to set the tone, so hopefully your offense can pick it up. But you got to keep that physicality and energy this entire game. And why wouldn't you? They're banged up, man.
They are.
Go force the issue.
Yeah.
Get a couple turnovers. Go get it. If it's Andy Dalton, I think last time they played, Andy Dalton starting, he was with the Cowboys.
That's correct.
Cardinals were all over.
Yep.
And what's the latest text about Andy Dalton as a starter?
Yeah, Andy Dalton will be the starter. Jameis Winston will be the third starter.
Okay, what's his record as a starter being Andy Dalton as of late? Was it
0-11 0-11 in primetime starts, but the Cardinals they've lost their last 8 home games, and they're 0-6 in their black alternate unis, and they're 0-5 in Thursday night football games as well.
So
0-2 in their last games against the Saints.
On top of that, you got the karma.
1 minute.
Of the home game.
Oh, man.
You got to come up. I think there should be somewhat of an exorcism before the game. So maybe they get the flag boys.
Yeah.
They instead of the flag, they hold incense.
Oh, man.
And they run around the field and they get the incense going. There's a lot of to kind of relieve
So everybody's
the bad
going to be
karma.
loaded before the game begins, is what you're trying to tell me. My God,
telling me there's a chance.
There you go. yeah. The incense, like the candles around the churches, around the valley.
man.
Open the damn roof. By the way, is the roof's got to be open?
It is. It's open.
Yeah.
I'll be John Brown.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it right there.
Hey,
So what'll happen? You can let all that bad karma out.
that's it.
It doesn't stay in.
Okay, we'll
That's
see.
the key,
I
Jimmy.
got you.
I'm my bad.
I
The
got
roof
you.
has to be open for the Cardinals to win tonight. Man, how did I miss that?
There could be a lot of nose hits taking place this evening. I can tell you that right now. How'd you like to go to Hawaii? Well, we're going to send you there. That's correct. All you got to do is just sign up to play the Twin Peaks Annual Football Picks Contest at Fan Pick'em. It's all courtesy of Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, Coors Light. Just go to fanpick'em.com, get your weekly picks in, and you'll be automatically qualified to win a trip to Hawaii or $5,000 in cash. That's fanpick'em.com. All right, coming up, Hopkins is back. Robbie Anderson is going to get some plays as well. So 2 new wide receivers now for the Cardinals. He'll be calling the game tonight on Westwood One Radio nationwide. Ryan Leaf, former QB, is going to be our guest next. We are live in Twin Peaks, Glendale. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B and Jax on Fox Sports 910.
I see.
HHS and the
You should
Ad
have to
Council.
highlight.
I'm good.
Shotgun. Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray heaves it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins.
Guys are hot. 5 seconds.
Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
And thank you to CBS for that one, as in D-Hop is indeed back tonight. And Robbie Anderson, just acquired in a trade, is also going to be on the field, and he will be playing as well. The guy who's going to be working the game tonight is former QB Ryan Leaf. He is a former first-round choice of the San Diego Chargers, also host of the Straight Line, and you can find him at PointsBet USA, as well as his work for Westwood One. Ryan, well, we're here in Glendale at the Twin Peaks. It's Jimmy B, it's Manuch, and Jax. Thank you, buddy, for taking some time coming on with us. We know you got to do a little business this evening. Just open up and give me your thoughts on what you expect to see with two teams that are both really beat up heading into tonight's game.
Yeah, I think that's the thanks for having me, by the way. I think that's the bigger conversation in all this. I mean, they're just really depleted. The difference is that the Arizona Cardinals are adding some pieces, right? You know, James Conner is still a game-time decision. But, you know, they add DeAndre Hopkins, which I think is going to be a big help for Kyler Murray, and then possibly Robbie Anderson. We don't quite know if he's going to be able to impact the game in any way, and I just need A.J. Brown to step up a little bit more. But on the other side of that coin, I mean, New Orleans just is decimated. They're without their big left guard and Pete, and then without Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave. I don't think it's, you know, they're going to ask a lot of them, but I won't necessarily expect too much from him in this game after coming off that concussion protocol. So, yeah, this is a game about which team on a short week dealing with a bunch of injuries can come together and find a way to put together the best team and get the win.
Ryan, it's Manuch. Always great to catch up with you. I'm just with your quarterback offensive coordinator mind that you're so adept at. How do you utilize D-Hop initially in this game? You get a lot of short throws, some safe throws, and then work Robbie Anderson is more of a shot guy or something along those lines. How would you utilize both these individuals tonight?
Yeah, I would think that Robbie Anderson, if he goes, it's going to be all about him and have a small package in terms of what he does straight line down the field, because he won't have known the offense
right.
at all. And so what you want from him is to kind of take the top off, kind of how Marquise Hollywood Brown could do, you know, take the top off the defense, and then allow DeAndre Hopkins to work in those zones, underneath and kind of in the intermediary spots. That's where I expect it to be. And I asked the question to the Cardinals, you know, is there going to take some time for Hopkins to kind of get acclimated and get going, maybe a smaller package tonight because he's so quickly back? And they're like, no, he's going to go. He should be ready to play. Conditioning shouldn't be a problem. And we've missed him a lot, and we're going to utilize him the most we can.
Speaking of utilization, when you watch Kyler Murray these last few games, I just want to get your thoughts about watching him overall. And with this Saints defense, they can be staunch at times. How would you utilize him, at least initially? A lot of looks, a lot of rollouts, or just set him back and try to get max protection?
Well, I mean, he hasn't done really well with max protection either, right? Yeah. So it's not. He's having a tough time this year. I don't know what Cliff Kingsbury has seen, or whether or not defenses have kind of caught up to what he's been trying to do, but they've looked incredibly off. They have weapons. Don't get me wrong. They haven't protected necessarily very well, but I mean, this is kind of exactly why I wanted to see one more year from Kyler Murray before you invested in an extension with him, right? This is the biggest fear you have, like a guy that gets the big money in the offseason, you know, an extension for the head coach, and all of a sudden a year from now we're looking for a new head coach and a team that made the playoffs a year ago and now seemingly can't score a point, like they did last week against the Seattle Seahawks, which is a very porous defense. So I mean, they have to win this game tonight. I mean, this is imperative that they win this game tonight because things are going to get incredibly toasty in Phoenix, and I don't just mean the weather.
No, I understand perfectly. When we began the show, we opened it with some national media talking about the possibility if things don't go well tonight for Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals, there could be changes. Obviously, you just alluded to that as well.
Yeah, I don't think they fire him. I think that ultimately he comes into a situation where, like, every game's going to be about his job the rest of the year, and I really do believe that. Like, I don't care that you sign the extension this year. Every game from this point on is going to have implications on whether or not you return as the head coach next season.
So, Ryan, when you look at the other side of the ball, it looks like Andy Dalton, it looks like he's going to go. I think it's Taysom Hill and then Jameis Winston, unless you've got some new information. When you watch this mash unit of New Orleans Saints and Andy Dalton back there, I call it sometimes he's got Frankenstein feet because he really can't move that much. How imperative is it for this Cardinals defense to put pressure on him and pressure often? But aside from that, they got this phenomenal running game on top of everything that kind of keeps everybody at bay with that.
It is. They've scored points. I mean, they've scored, last 3 games, they've scored 25, 39, and 26 points.
Yep.
And so that has not been the Thursday Night Football model, right? It hasn't.
That's
so
true.
It leads me to believe that this New Orleans team can manufacture and score points. And Andy Dalton is at the helm of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been the guy that's quarterbacked the team those last 3 games. He hasn't made the big mistake. He's only got 1 interception on the year. Now, he's only thrown 3 touchdowns, but he hasn't turned it over. And that's what Jameis Winston was really doing a lot. He had 5 interceptions early on in the season. They're running the ball better, but you're right. You have to get pressure on him. You have to move him off the spot. You have to make him make some mistakes. What he's been able to do back there is he's been able to have some time, kind of pick apart defenses, even without his starting wide receivers. No Jarvis Landry, no Michael Thomas, right? I mean, Traquan Smith stepped up a week ago, Marquez Callaway too, and then the young rookie from Weber State, right, Rashid Shaheed.
Yes.
He goes for 51 yards in the touchdown last week. So, they've got players, and the defense is pretty good. So, they're kind of like, I liken it to, the movie Seabiscuit. The worry for them was if War Admiral got away and shook loose, you'd never catch them. And if New Orleans gets out to an early lead tonight, it's over.
Yeah, like in Seabiscuit, Seabiscuit had him right where he wanted him, right? He kicked in there at the last and went right by him to win that race. And speaking of the race, when you watch this New Orleans Saints team, you played so much football. I was more of a backup, Ryan. When you look at this team, when you have 2 offensive linemen now, you're banged up. What have you admired most about the play calling in watching the Saints win these games when they have?
Repeat that. You kind of cut out for a second.
I just wanted to see what did you admire most with this Saints team banged up? They're putting these points on the board. What have you admired about this offense? The way they're doing the points, putting those points on the board.
Diverse, and I think that stems from what Sean Payton did. Right? You talk about Pete Carmichael, their offensive coordinator, his knowledge of what Sean Payton did. He's kind of instituted that. Just 2 weeks ago against Seattle, he knew that they were going to be able to run the ball well, and that was to make sure that Taysom Hill got enough carries. And boy, he did his part. Not as much a week ago, but I expect him to be hugely in the game plan in terms of what they do to make the defense do a lot of different things. The good thing about what the Cardinals have is they got the human Swiss Army knife out there in Isaiah Simmons. They finally kind of have figured out what Isaiah's best at, and that was just let the dude go, man. He is unbelievably impressive, and he really fits well in this defense now and what they're trying to do. Let him go. Let number 9 just run all over the football field and create chaos and havoc.
Ryan Lee, finishing with Ryan Lee, former first-round choice of San Diego Chargers, now the host of The Straight Line at Point Bets USA. Talk to us about that. How's everything going with The Straight Line?
It's good. It's a lot of work. So grateful to have the work. Been on the road.
2 minutes.
So remotely in the digital studio, but we'll be back in the studio next week. And it's been great. I mean, I couldn't. You guys know me. I'm really grateful for the opportunities I have, and I've worked really hard for them, and so when I get the opportunities, I'm going to make the most of them, and it's been a lot of fun.
Ryan, when you walk into the stadium tonight, because we sat here and all of us played at some level, and because it's game day, we get fired up. We get the juices going. Does that still happen to you?
Oh yeah, especially I call college football games mostly every once in a while I'll get an NFL game like tonight, but the college football atmospheres are outstanding. I'm at College Station next weekend for the Ole Miss matchup against.
Oh, buddy,
yeah. Ago, I was at Georgia, Auburn, down in Athens. I mean, the atmospheres are amazing. And so, yeah, when I get down on the field, in a pro atmosphere, it's a little different. There's a little more sterile, kind of like, quiet. People are at work here, but still you understand what this is about. And so I love the opportunity. And calling NFL games is just an easier model because you only have 53-man rosters. Right. You don't have double numbers.
Yep.
You know the players, and it's all about the football, right? We're analyzing the football, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Ryan, welcome to our world, man. The high school, college, and the pros is like, oh my gosh, where's that? Who's the third 22 on the roster here? Who is that?
Oh, I've been there many times.
Oh my gosh.
Ryan, have a great call tonight, and once again, thanks for taking time with us before you really got to go to work, okay?
You bet, fellas. Thank you so much. Good talking to you.
All right, see you. Ryan Leaf, Westwood One. He'll be on the call tonight nationwide on the Westwood One radio network. And look, you guys don't be laughing at me. I played football in high school, and I was on the Eastern Washington football team as a freshman, as a terrific defensive back until I got creamed by a pulling guard.
Water boy and manager doesn't count for that thing. Yeah.
No, in the spring game, I had 2 picks, and then I got cleared out.
Take us to break, Jimmy. You're killing me, Smalls.
Golly. Hey, listen, we're here at Twin Peaks in Glendale. And by the way, if you'd like to be in the running for a new patio grill set for your backyard, all you got to do is text Peaks 55678. That's Peaks 55678. All right, when we come back, the biggest difference between Canadian radio stations and American radio stations. It will be our Valley Chevy random fact of the day, plus a team that hosted their first World Series outside of the United States this day 30 years ago. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Troy Aikman in only 6 years has passed for 16,303 yards. Did you know the career record for most hits is 4,256 by Pete Rose, who is not in the Hall of Fame?
Do you know that my next door neighbor has 3 rabbits?
Now time
Guys are hot.
Fox Sports 910's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B to give you the random facts of the day driven by your Valley Chevy dealers. Find new roads at your Chevy dealer. For a dealer near you, head to valleychevy.com.
Somewhere between Cher and James Dean is fine for me.
Well, Nickelback there, Jimmy.
Do you like Nickelback?
I do. I like the guy's voice.
This is the only song that I ever liked.
I like a lot of music. I really like this song.
I like a lot of music, but this is
my
the only
favorite.
Nickelback song I ever liked.
Well, the reason why we're playing this
Yeah.
on our Chevy Dealers Random Fact of the Day is that Canadian radio stations are required by law, Jimmy, to play Canadian artists on the airways at least 35% of the time.
Well, I can understand that.
Jax, you a Nickelback fan?
I like this song a little bit.
I like the guy's voice.
No.
I like the guitars.
It's the only Nickelback song I like.
Well, have you seen this video?
Yes.
Have you seen the layout?
Yes.
You got Wayne Gretzky. You got Gene Simmons. You got
Yep.
Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yep.
Grant Hill. Chuck Liddell, a host. That was back in 2007 when that was all being played. So interesting, they got to play 35% of the airwaves.
Right.
Have got to incorporate. Jax, you can play that a little bit on as I fit. Now, the average, guys, this is something. So for parents, you got your kids in the car, just heads up. The average bra size in the U.S. is now.
Is this what you wear?
No. Maybe Phil Mickelson. That's about it. I'm sorry, Phil. That's a cheap shot.
Call.
Is 34 double D.
What?
Yeah. Now, 30 years ago,
Yeah.
it was 34B.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just interesting how things have grown over the years. I'm
gonna ask some of the Twin Peaks ladies.
No, we want you to hang around the entire show, Jimmy.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want the politically correct patrol out here.
I wonder if social media now and Instagram and the OnlyFans and stuff like that has something to do with it. Maybe.
Well, it might be. And augmentations are at an all-time high as well too. So all that's going on. And Hollywood has a big influence with that too. So those are our random facts today, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers. Your Valley Chevy dealers serving the Valley for over 80 years. All you have to do is go to valleychevy.com. All right, let's go to our 72 sold on this day report.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back.
If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past.
A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Time for your 72 sold on this day report. Get our price, a higher price at 72sold.com.
Yeah, Huey Lewis, a little bit better vibe than Nickelback, I would say.
I would say.
1976, Jimmy, you remember this?
Yes.
The 76ers acquired Julius Erving.
I do.
From the New York Nets for $3 million. That's 30 years ago. And then 30 years ago, 1992, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted Jimmy.
Yes.
The first ever World Series outside the United States.
All right. Here's a quick Julius Erving story. I'll tell it in roughly 30 seconds. I was working in San Francisco after the Sixers acquired Dr. J. They came and played the Golden State Warriors at then the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Rick Barry is the star for the Golden State Warriors. That night, I'm there. Rick Barry scores 55. The Doc scores 38. It was like when Barry would come over midcourt, the whole arena would just stand up and yell, "Shoot!"
Was that the old Cow Palace?
No. It was in Oakland. Man, they were playing in Oakland at the Oakland Alameda County College.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cow Palace. I'm going way
back. Yeah,
way back. Well, Rick Barry was not going to get shown out.
He was not going to get shown up
by Dr. J.
55. He went.
By the way, the Blue Jays, they beat the Atlanta Braves 3-2 that day. A few days later, they also took the series title after winning Game 6. 34 years ago, 1988, the LA Dodgers won the World Series, beating the Oakland A's in 5 games. Oral Hershiser named the MVP. My good buddy Mickey Hatcher was second in the running of the MVP. He was playing left field, had a hell of a series.
He did.
Hitting the baseball during that series. 2012, the Arizona Diamondbacks make a pair of trades, sending center fielder Chris Young to the Oakland A's for shortstop Cliff Pennington. and minor league infielder Yordy Cabrera. Then flip Cabrera to the Miami Dolphins for disgruntled high-price reliever Heath Bell. Remember Heath Bell?
Mm-hmm.
But Bell may not be the D-backs closer. They also re-signed J.J. Poots to an extension for the next season. J.J., what, 6'8", 6'9"?
He was a big dude.
He could flat bring it. Hey, today's On This Day report is powered every day by 72 Sold, America's leading home selling program. There's no better way to sell your home than 72 Sold, the official real estate partner of the Arizona Cardinals. For the easiest, fastest, most proper way to sell your home is at 72sold.com. Get our price, a higher price, at 72sold.com.
Well, Manuch, let me quickly give you a line that I want to have you follow up on.
All right.
And I just happened to see this. All right. And it is the Cardinals will get beat tonight if.
3 minutes.
If they don't come out with energy and execution.
The Cardinals will win tonight if
they continue to have energy and execution. Energy and execution.
2 words.
That's
it.
2 words, man. Energy and execution.
Okay.
Because what have we seen? Lack of execution.
Yes.
Throwing the ball, catching the ball, stopping guys. So it's energy and execution. Guys, look, on a short week, you've got to manufacture energy, execution. I don't care what it takes. You got to take a couple no-dos, drink a bunch of coffee, a bunch of iced tea, a tropical tea like you, Jimmy, whatever it is.
That's me, Mr. Tropical.
False energy. I don't care if you got to drink 3 Red Bulls.
Yep.
Or the best combination would be a 44-ounce Thirst Buster Mountain Dew with a Red Bull combo. Oh, you'll be bouncing off the walls. But seriously, you got to come out with energy, and you got to execute to make this thing happen. That's all you got after playing. You're barely recovered from Sunday, let alone today.
And you mentioned on Monday's show, who's that leader on the offensive side of the ball? I think that's DeAndre Hopkins. He's that leader for you. He's the guy that's going to bring the energy. I want to see Kyler get a little fired up. I want to see Cliff get fired up. I feel like every time they show Cliff, he's in his little corner, highlighted on a sheet.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, is it purple highlighter or red highlighter this week?
Right, yeah.
Maybe
it should be yellow so you can see what the plays are.
You
I don't know.
got it. I mean, I don't care how you manufacture. You cannot come out flat. You got to come out.
What if they do, Manuch?
Oh, man, if they do, that's all coaching, man. That is all. Guys, coaches lose, players win.
Yep.
That's the mantra of any football. I don't care if it's high school, it's college, it's pros. You got to know. And leadership-wise, Kyler Murray. Hey, Kyler, I hate to tell you, you're going to have to lead the charge. You talk about D-Hop. It's going to have to be Kyler Murray. This is on you, Kyler. This is why they're paying you the big bucks to be the leader.
Yep.
You cannot remain to be inconsistent. They're paying you big bucks. I thought what Ryan Leaf said, that it was, I think we all felt
1 minute.
It was premature for Kyler Murray to get the extension. But I think they were hoodwinked or forced to make the extension
there you
happen.
Go. Forced is the correct term.
Because he was having a little bit of a hissy fit.
Yep.
But okay, Kyler, be careful what you ask for. Tag, you're it. Here it is. Here's the bags. You got the bags in your pocket. You got to go make this happen. Kyler Murray, this is on you, man. You got game? Like I tell my quarterback, listen, I got game, coach. All right, you got game? You better have game because this is on you. And now I want to see no pouty faces on the sideline. Get your butt over there and talk to the lineman and talk to everybody else. Or put your butt in the corner for the rest of the season if you do that.
We are live here at Twin Peaks in Glendale. Already a big crowd in here. There's
calling you out, Kyler.
A lot of Saints fans. A lot of Saints fans are here as well, and we will be here for the next 2 hours. Come by and say hello to us. Twin Peaks in Glendale. We're coming right back. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Fox Sports 910.
Sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered.
Jimmy, just give me the same Let's Go cue.
You got it.
In Iraq and need a check? Make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrow.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and
848 Roof
Manuch
call.
with Jimmy B on Fox
Guys are hot.
910.
Hey, everybody, welcome in. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jax is here as well. Ben in the studio, making sure that we stay on course with this rocky ship. And no Rock today. He's feeling under the weather.
Under the weather.
We hope that he returns tomorrow.
Just stay home. Get better. Pump the emergency.
We got you covered.
Get the Vicks Vapor Rub on the chest and the nostrils. Get a little sleep.
What are you, Dr. Manuch?
Oh,
Is
brother,
that
trust me. When you get the flu bug or any of that kind of stuff, you got to go. You got to have the go-to stuff.
That's it.
The emergency, the NyQuil, the DayQuil, the Aleve, the Tylenol. And you got to pump the orange juice, the water, the fluids. Maybe mix in a hot toddy.
Oh man, I go my
hot toddy.
My go-to is Gatorade. I just
pound
Gatorade.
That stuff.
Yeah,
I take a little tea with some honey and maybe a shot of whiskey. or two.
Or two.
Yeah, dude, let's do a little combo with that and some DayQuil. That'll put him to sleep for about a half hour. Or about
Can I
half
interject
a
real
day.
quickly?
Yeah, what do you got there, Ben? Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys ever, when you are sick,
Yes.
put like a spoonful of Tabasco in a spoon and shove that down your gullet? It works magical.
What?
Really wakes it up.
Tabasco?
Tabasco sauce?
I'll pass. I'm good.
Woo, man.
Yes. Like Tabasco sauce, put it in a little spoon
Yeah.
and just shove it down the gullet. Oh, man. I
Yeah.
love doing that before breakfast or like when I'm sick. Really, really wakes you up.
I could see that making you pretty regular on a regular basis.
I could say that.
You're like spoon juice and Tabasco.
Thank
if
you,
you're
Ben,
constipated,
for that
but-
insight.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now.
Something I'm not going to try, that's for sure.
Hey, it's our State 48. It's your call question of the day for a free quote, repair, or installation. Just go to state48roofing.com. Follow them on social media by searching hashtag #SexyRoofStatus. And here is the question. How many combined catches will DeAndre Hopkins and Robbie Anderson have in tonight's game against the New Orleans Saints? 1, 3 to 5, 2, 6 to 8, 3, 9 to 12, 4, 13 to 15. All you got to do is just go to Roc and Manuch Twitter and cast your vote, and we'll get into it a little later on in the show. All right, let's go.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, of course, we are here in Glendale at Twin Peaks. The place is just slammed right now, and people are still coming in. And we've got Cardinal fans and Saints fans joining us. And for this game tonight, Manuch, there are several national stories circulating by the opinionators on national television and radio, indicating that if things go south for the Cardinals tonight, that head coach Cliff Kingsbury is in trouble, serious hot seat, and Sean Payton's name is the one that is most talked about.
Yeah, it really is. A lot of the prognosticators out there, opinionators, whatever you want to call them, are saying, look, if the Cardinals come out flat, Colin Cowherd, who comes on before Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B, he talked about it this morning that he was hearing from several reliable sources. I don't know who those are, but that if this Cardinals team can't get out the schneid offensively and they lose to a depleted New Orleans Saints team, he could be on the hot seat, i.e., could be a candidate to be one of the coaches, second NFL coach, aside from Matt Rule, that may be let go. Now, that also was hinted on ESPN this morning on some of the morning shows there.
Yep.
So there's something out there, guys. When people start, the chatter is out there that if they lay another egg or don't do well, or this New Orleans Saints team who's got the JV team basically playing in this game, if they can't get out in the schneid and win it, hook, crook, or whatever, then Cliff could be on the hot seat. And it doesn't surprise me, extension or no extension, if this team's going nowhere fast and looking bad at it, then I think Michael Bidwell and the powers be said, look, we've seen enough. we've got enough talent. We feel that a change needs to be made. All of a sudden, you're 2-4, you're 2-5. Season's going by the wayside.
All right, I think you just made a very good point, and knowing you didn't realize it, which is scary. You said
I'm very valid. Trust me.
You said if they lose tonight.
Yeah.
So my question then on the follow-up is if they lose by a last-second field goal, or if they get beat by 10 to 15 points.
I think losing is losing. It doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Jimmy. Yeah.
All right.
You lose. Oh, but there's no moral victories on that column.
Yes.
You win or you lose. Yeah. There's no moral victory that gives you credit one way or the other. So this is, here's a game that I feel that Cliff Kingsbury is coaching for his football life.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me, for his NFL football life.
Okay.
I really believe that.
That's fair.
And I think that he and Kyler Murray and Steve Keim all go hand in hand. So I feel they should win this game. And I'm going to predict right now they should win this by 10 points, at least 10 points, because of this depleted New Orleans Saints team. So you look at that. So if this thing continues to fall flat, the gimmick, the experiment of what's been going on the last 4 years is done. So maybe you can salvage if you lose. You can salvage it with somebody else can come in here, get things turned around. I don't know. But right now, I think that this is a game-by-game basis, and for Cliff Kingsbury, he's got to win this game tonight, or there could be some changes. And you said, what I hear you say, Jimmy, is, well, maybe it's the way they lost. No, a loss is a loss.
Okay.
Jackson, in my mind, you lose, you lose.
Yeah, I want to see some offensive flow from the Cardinals, but I'm a betting man myself right now. The over-under is at 43.5, and I think if you're Amazon Prime right now, you want it to be over 43.5 points after the last couple of weeks.
You want to see
you want to see some score.
You want to see maybe a 28-25, 31-28. You want to see some juice on this game, or else people are going to go, Thursday night games, forget it. They're boring. If I want to take a good nap before I go to sleep, I'm going to turn a Thursday night game on. Literally. I mean, guys, they've been that bad when you watch them.
Yeah, and I agree with Ryan Leaf. I think A.J. Green needs to step up in this game as well. I mean, you got Robbie Anderson, you got DeAndre Hopkins, but A.J. Green, where have you been? You got to be that outside guy that Kyler can rely on when D-Hop is double teamed.
He's watching A.J. Green. There's those great hands, great possession. He'd become a great possession guy, but his hands are suspect on top of it.
It's always body catching.
Yeah, A.J. Green to me, another guy that's got to step up. You just, look, I don't care how you got, like I said, it's got to be E-squared tonight.
Okay.
Energy and execution
by
this entire team. I don't care who's playing, who's not playing. I don't care if you bring that kid, that 23-year-old Action Jackson. You bring him off the bench out of Twin Peaks, suit him up.
Here he is.
He's going to be ready to go.
Get a jersey,
Get
kid.
his butt fired up. Let's go.
I'll bring the energy.
Yeah,
All right.
you will.
I knew you
You'll bring
would.
that Montana Grizz energy.
All right, so last night, the NBA opener for the Phoenix Suns, down 20 in that game, and then they went to halftime, and they came out with a lot more energy and execution, E-squared, as Manuch would say, for the Suns last night. Finally got the lead with only a couple of minutes left in the game, and then ended up winning it on a circus shot from Damian Lee. This is the way it sounded on ESPN.
Booker out front, guarded by the Mavericks' best perimeter defender, Finney Smith. Kleba switches on to Booker, shot clock at 10. There's the double team. They take it out of Booker's hands. Booker again to Lee. Lee with the drive. Tough shot. Oh! Unbelievable! An implausible shot by Lee.
Well, it was an unbelievable shot. He's falling away from the basket. There was terrific defense on that play, but the ball went in, and it resulted then in a victory of 107-105 for the Suns. After the game, here's what Lee had to say about hitting the winning bucket.
I swung it back to Book to, make sure that he was going to have the last shot. Just understanding and just reading the game, he got it going second half. Ball was in my hands, under 7 seconds to go. Just go make a play. Got to my spot. I think if you'll see on the replay, Dinwiddie kind of like tugs at my arm a little bit as I go to kind of got him off a little bit. And whatever happened from there happened. I mean, made it, got a win in the left column, so we'll take it.
There you go, a victory for the Suns opening night. Hey, look, it's not revenge like Like
No,
fans
no.
are saying, look,
No.
this is the first game of 81. But it was, I think, to the players, I think it felt very good for the players to get that W last night.
And interesting that CP3 was not in the game the last 6 minutes of the game.
Right.
Cam Payne stayed in the game.
And Cam Johnson
was in the game as
Yep.
well too. So you had both them in there.
Yep.
Cam Johnson
and
hit a big bucket.
Yep.
Lee came down, hits a three. Hit a couple big threes.
Yes.
Comes down and then gets that shot. I was just surprised. I'm looking for him to kick it back out to D-Book. But as he said, 7 seconds, I got to make a play. Here we are. And he looked like he was falling down going right.
Yes.
I think the only other guy that could make that in a horse game and a trick shot was Larry Bird. He laid it up there and went, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
It went
nice. It went in. And then Luka comes down kind of nonchalant, and you're shocked he misses a shot.
I thought that three ball, when he let it go, I thought it was going
But, Jimmy,
in.
I want to get your opinion. What happened getting down by 20 there?
Okay.
It's like, does this Suns team have a habit of falling asleep with the switch like they did last year? Where was the switches? Where was the energy? Where was the defense? And very fortunate that they were able to come back. You knew they'd make a run. But I just felt at that point, there's something fundamentally flawed when they could have been down by 30.
Could have been.
At one time because Dallas missed a couple shots.
Yes.
They could have buried them there midway through that third
All
quarter.
right, here's what I deducted, at least from the second half, after the Mavericks had dominated in the first half. Remember, they went to the half after a big three-pointer by the Suns, and I think that energized them going into half. I think what Monty Williams did, he made a couple of situational changes, not with players, but the way that he was structuring the offense, and that opened it up. Remember, they started to really go to DeAndre Ayton down low on the block, and he was scoring.
Finally.
And competing. Well, he picked up 3 fast
Yeah,
fouls
that's true.
in the first half. So they really started to do that, and then I think because of that,
30.
that clawed their way back in and then helped them overcome that lead by Dallas, and it turns out to be a victory for the Suns last night. Hey, are you looking for the easiest way to sell your home for top dollar? Even in this current housing market, it's Jimmy B to tell you about how 72 Sold works. First, you sell your house for a higher price, meaning you get more than selling traditionally. Second, avoid daily showings, which eliminates the inconvenience of daily showings. Who has that time anyway? And we're always too busy to hang around and wait for the next buyer to show up. Next, enjoy greater certainty because you have a greater control over your sale and the closing date. And lastly, streamline the process. Have your home sold in days instead of weeks or even months. Now, you'd be crazy to sell your home any other way. So, for the easiest, fastest, most profitable way to sell your home, just go to 72sold.com. 72 Sold, the official real estate partner of the Cardinals and Diamondbacks, and now Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Just go to 72sold.com. Get a higher price for your home. Okay, coming up, it's a first for the Chicago Cubs. Kentucky and Indiana agree, at least in principle, to get their annual series back on the basketball court. And did you take the over or under on the length of Bill Belichick's opening presser question yesterday? We're going to discuss it all. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B and Jax. We are live here in Glendale at Twin Peaks. Fox Sports 910. rolling live here at Twin Peaks in Glendale. The place is jumping. I mean, it is packed and people are still coming in. They'll find you a seat if you're looking for a cold one. So just come by and you can say hi to us. The quarterback whisperer, the one, the only Dan Manucci is here. He will sign autographs during commercial
I might even do it for free, too. I may not even charge. May not even charge it. I feel pretty good that coffee's kicked in.
Yeah,
It's game day.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very generous.
All right, fair enough. Now, let's get into a couple of sports business notes, okay? The Chicago Cubs say that they're going to lower season ticket prices. Well, they should. They suck.
Oh, okay. Well, it was Captain Obvious, right?
Man.
They be part of the commercial.
Man, they should have me do that commercial. We suck, so we're going to lower the prices. Good golly. They're reducing ticket prices for full season packages following back-to-back losing seasons.
Yeah, season tickets at Wrigley for 2023 have been cut by an average of 5%, with all 2022 season ticket sections, including the bleachers. Everybody loves it out there. That will receive a price reduction ranging from 2.5% to 6.5%. Now, the paid attendance this year at Wrigley was 2,616,000 and some change.
Okay.
Basically 32,000 per game. I know a lot of people would love to have 32,000 per game. Now, that was the Cubs' lowest home total since 1997.
Well, they suck.
Yeah, excluding the pandemic affected 2020 and 2021 seasons. So I think it's great. I think a lot of teams should follow that. But 32, on average, 32,000 people.
Yeah.
You look at the Diamondbacks.
Oh, I know.
What do they average? Maybe 10, 12?
No.
They might say 22 to 25.
Yeah.
Highly disagree, folks, over there at the Diamondback land. But, I think maybe it's a trend to follow. The Cubbies are leading the charge to reduce the season tickets when folks aren't showing up. And to your point, Jimmy, when they suck.
Yes.
Let's just cut to the chase. Right, Jack? Man, they suck. Why not, man? But here's the thing.
If you want an explanation, just ask me.
Here's the thing, though. But they're still charging $19.95 for a 12-ounce beer.
Well, of course
Well, you're going to make
Yeah.
them concessions.
Well, you got to build those big beer snakes, which I did when I sat, out in Wrigley Field. I sat out in the bleachers and helped build the beer snake.
I would love a couple of my, to do our wish list. Obviously, go to the Masters.
Yeah, I've been there.
Wrigley Field.
Yep.
I would love to go to Fenway.
Fenway, been there.
I've driven by Fenway, never been in there.
Oh well, that doesn't count.
Yeah, and then attend maybe, I don't know. I've never been to a Super Bowl in person.
Okay.
That would be okay. I mean, I really like watching it on TV. I do.
It's a crazy experience.
I bet.
I went to the Cardinals Super Bowl when they were in it. When I was
I've
9
been to
years
about
old.
13 of
You went
them.
to Tampa?
Yeah, I was in Tampa.
Wow, that must have been
I was too.
So I would put that on the bucket list.
Okay.
as a potential.
I've been to about 13 Super Bowls that I've covered. All right, let's get to this one. This is college basketball, and it's about time. University of Kentucky and Indiana have now at least agreed in principle to begin to continue their series with basketball. Finally, I was so upset, Manuch, when they discontinued that. That's one of the best rivalries. And now, now they play it in the Lucas Oil Dome where the Colts play, and they put 50,000 people in there to watch the basketball game.
And this is interesting, Jimmy. From 1969 to 2011, it was a regular. And they stopped it, to your point, back in 2012.
They did.
And they've only met one time since then. I mean, so those are staples, right?
Yeah.
Especially early on, conference, non-conference, whatever, SEC versus the ACC. That's what college basketball is all about. I love to see UCLA in the mix, KU in the mix.
Yes.
See those guys intertwined. But I think this one here, when you're talking about basketball, Kentucky, Indiana, Duke, KU, and North Carolina.
Yep.
The Blue Bloods.
And Duke.
Yeah. I think that's bit part of that. So why they stopped, I don't know if that was a Calipari thing, or maybe, I'll tell you what, maybe Indiana's been off the last several years.
They have.
Now they're coming back.
Right.
So if you're going to play Kentucky, not that there's a demand you be undefeated, but maybe they want to see a little more competition, but you're now going to see that.
Let's get to this because I find this very, very interesting. And we've had this discussion during a lot of college football, and that is the Big 12 Conference apparently now is very close to getting new media rights deal, and that would be with Fox and ESPN. And the new commissioner says there will be a substantial raise for all of the schools, Manuch.
And who's not working on their media deal right now?
That's right. The Pac-12.
The Pac-12. This is one of those things. The Big 12 is getting way ahead of their contract. I think their contract
2025.
Yeah, expires in 2025. Getting out in front of this to basically say, look, we're here to be around for a long time. Let's get the package signed, still delivered now. They may make, I don't know, $100 million per team, $90 million, whatever it's going to be. And then at that point in time, what they're going to have with ESPN or Fox, whoever they get this worked out with, they're going to get prime time opportunities first.
That's correct.
Pac-12, get in the back. You're in the back seat. No, they're in the very back. Remember the station wagons back in the day? You had the front seat, the middle seat, and then in the back.
Yes,
you had that seat that faced out the window.
The rumble seat.
Yeah, the rumble seat. They're in the rumble seat.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they might be on the hitch outside the car where you put the boat when you're dragging your family around. That's where the Pac-12 is right now. So the Big 12 is getting ahead of this.
Yes, they are.
And can you say, let me think, ASU, U of A, Colorado, Utah are looking at these negotiations going,
they are.
As soon as these get penned in and they look at the amount of money that the Big 12, by the way, K-State's in the Big 12.
I'm well aware of that.
The true Wildcats are going to say, when can we sign and get the hell out of the Pac-12? Because we want to be part of a conference that's growing besides the teams that are coming in next year. The Cincy's, the Houstons, UCFs, and the and BYUs of the world. We want to go be part of that. I don't care if it's the Big 20, because we're going to get $85 to $100 million a year. Pac who? That's what it's going to be like.
Well, if you're the Pac-12, what network are you going to join? I feel like
You're going to be on Fubo.
Could you imagine? Yeah, you're going to be on ESPN Plus. We'll have enough money for you to stream. Oh, by the way, you're going to kick off at 10 o'clock at night.
You're going to be on Netflix.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys early. The early morning risers on Sunday. We'll catch a Pac-12 game.
Oh, my gosh.
Could you imagine? Seriously, that's how bad the Pac-12 is. And, guys, in fairness to the Pac-12, and we're going to catch up with Ted Robinson here, one of the play-by-play voices for the Pac-12 network, get his thoughts. They're starting to play good football all of a sudden.
They are.
They got quarterbacks out the yin yang that are lighting it up all over in these games. So it's very unfortunate that they're not taking advantage of where they're at, and they're going to be left in the dust behind. Talk about a rumble seat. They won't even be in the damn car. No, they'll be, you know how you got that little, the holding rack on top of the car?
Oh, you're going to put it up there?
I'm going to put them up there.
Like in Vacation, they made Grandma right on top of the car?
Yeah, and what do you call the little ropes that you put on, and you got the hooks on the end of them?
I call them straps.
Yeah, the straps, whatever. Yeah, they'll be up there strapped up. Yeah, they won't even be in the damn car. They'll be on the straps.
Quickly, before we run out of time, the College Football Management Committee meeting in Dallas, they're looking obviously to expand. They're trying to up that timetable from 2026.
Yeah, we haven't, and that's going on. As you mentioned, Jimmy, have not seen any update as of yet. But if they can get this bad boy minimum 2025, that's a huge coup.
Yes.
To get this bad boy to 12 teams in the playoff, if not more. So it's 12. Next year, I think it'd be very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got a game plan as far as how they'll use the bowl games and how they'll set up and the brackets and the whole 9 yards. So I think 2025 is the number.
All right, quickly, Bill Belichick had opening comments at his press conference. It went for 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and he's talking about a guy who plays on special teams, Manuch. That's it.
His presser Tuesday, was for 22 minutes. The first 7, he sits down with his tee, and he talks about the Chicago Bears. He basically, without looking at notes, laid out the offense, the defense, the good, the bad, the ugly, coming into New England to play this game on Monday Night Football. He was nonstop for 7 minutes. I went, wait a second. Is this Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
The same Bill Belichick that Mr. Short Answer, Mr. 3-second answer? Did the T kick in?
I would hate to be a reporter in that room.
Oh, my gosh.
His voice is so...
Well, he just does that on purpose. Trust me. I've interviewed him many times. He's a great interview.
That's an oxymoron.
I know that.
For Bill Belichick to have his opening presser on a morning For 22 minutes. The opening bell was 7 minutes.
And then he went on to talk about a special teams player for another 10 minutes after that.
So, folks, like, I don't know, Sunday late afternoon after you mow the yard and you want to watch his presser, just lay down, turn it on, and he'll put you right to sleep. And you'll fall right to sleep.
You got it, kid. Hey, this Saturday, it's the only local sports gambling show on the air in Arizona. It's called Take the Points. It's presented by Casino Arizona. It's live from the sports book at the CAZ Sports Bar. Jax, you know the guys. Do the promo.
Oh, yeah. Mike Bauer, myself, Mike Gross. Bauer won't be there this week.
Okay.
So the show might be a little shorter because of Bauer.
I think the ratings might go up without Bauer in there. The ratings might be going up. You might get a word in edgewise.
I know. I might be able to talk more.
Who knows, Luther?
Yeah, it's a great show every Saturday, 11 to 1. Come out, say what's up. We got some great sports betting content for you. And, yeah, Fox Sports 910, baby.
You got it. Hey, did Utah establish themselves again as the top team in the Pac-12 when they beat USC? And how about that UCLA-Oregon game coming up this weekend? Our next guest, Pac-12 Network's play-by-play voice, Ted Robinson. He's on the way. It's Fox Sports 910.
This is
Glendale sequestered nicely in a packed Twin Peaks. Everybody getting ready for the game this evening, and we'll dive into that in a little bit more. But right now, we're going to talk Pac-12. Ted Robinson, Pac-12 Network's longtime play-by-play voice. You can follow him on Twitter at Ted J. Robinson. Ted, it's Jimmy B, Manuch, and Jax. How are you today, pal?
All right, fellas, great. How are you guys doing? You ready for a thriller on Thursday night?
I knew you were going to say that.
Wow, could you bring any more enthusiasm to that, Ted? My goodness.
Wow. I so love Al Michaels, and only Al could get away with calling out the last two Thursdays.
Oh, I know. It's great. Hey, give me the rundown because I can't wait for this UCLA and Oregon game.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on, kid.
First one to 65 wins this one, Ted, you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've had some of that. Look around the country. My God, what was Alabama the other day?
Yeah.
52-49. So, I mean, look, the rules are tilting even more to offense. And now you look at what happened to USC in the game at Utah last Saturday. Just don't touch the quarterback. You just can't touch the quarterback. And anyway, so to the UCLA Oregon game, Oregon has scored 40 or more every game they've played since their first one at Georgia. So to me, this is about the UCLA defense, which has been better this year. Can they be better again? Can they slow Oregon down just a little bit? Or are you going to have, because if you don't, then you're saying we have to score 60 to win.
Mm-hmm. And I think this too, Ted, with DRT at the helm and the running back, and you look at this UCLA team, it's almost like, okay, this is their time. Chip Kelly's played these kids as freshmen and sophomores, that this is their time. But, boy, the way that they're putting points on the board, and to your point, just slowing folks down. But to watch I don't know, what's DRT, 5, 6, how many years has he been playing now?
DTR.
I'm sorry, DTR, I'm sorry. DTR, in reference to him playing. The maturity that he's shown as a quarterback.
Yeah, and that's the big picture for UCLA again. Chip Kelly has never been the head coach anywhere 5 years. This is the longest he's been in one place. I think a lot of fans don't realize. He's never had a quarterback play more than 2 years for him.
Yes.
He's had the same guy for 5 years. Yeah. So I'm saying this should happen this year, and it is happening. And look, Bo Nix has been overlooked because the quarterback play in the league has been pretty good all around. Bo Nix has been terrific.
Yes.
And he could run, which is what surprised me. I didn't realize he was as effective with his legs as he is. And here's the deal, guys. Oregon, Travis Dye was a 3,000-yard runner for Oregon, and he left.
Yep.
They have run the ball just as well this year, even with losing a 3,000-yard guy. So, to me, again, that's where I come back to. UCLA's defense has to be a little bit better this week.
All right, so we referenced what took place with USC and Utah, and you brought it up briefly there. Has Utah played their way back into the picture, or is it still Oregon, UCLA, and USC?
Oh, no, Utah's in the picture for the conference, absolutely. I mean, for the top two. Look, I think there's 4 teams in the running for the top two. UCLA is in command if they win Saturday. If they win Saturday, they absolutely, because if you look at their remaining schedules, their toughest game by far remaining is USC. That's a home game for UCLA. Their road games are Arizona State and Cal. So, I mean, those are games they'll be favored in. Now, they have to win this week to be in that seat. But if UCLA somehow wins Saturday, they are absolutely in the driver's seat for one spot. The other spot's a big flip.
Yeah.
And, remember, Oregon and USC don't play, but Oregon and Utah still have to play. And then the dark horse to me, if there is one team that could sneak in the outside and get in there, it's Washington, because they don't play USC or Utah down the stretch.
Ted Robinson joining us from the Pac-12 Network here on the right Toyota guest side with Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B. And speaking of that Washington team, you did the Arizona at Washington. Oh, my goodness. What was the total? Was it 590-something with Pettis and then 4-something with DeLauro? I mean, watching that game, Ted, I think they need to pay you combat pay or extra for that offense going up and down the field.
Well, once upon a time, Manuch, you know, I did a little arena football about 15 years ago, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't afford to have an empty possession. That's the pressure. And I got to tell you guys, as good as Michael Penix has been as the quarterback for Washington this year, Jaden DeLauro was the best quarterback I saw last week. He was terrific, and he had played so substandard the previous week against Oregon. And it kind of defines DeLauro right now. He's a hit-and-miss guy. The hit is really, really good, though. But yeah, and Washington at home has crushed. They've won all 5 of their games. They've scored a ton of points. Their offense flows. They're in a really good place. You know, they had 2 bad road losses. And the game Washington-Arizona game sort of defines a lot of the league right now, which is an awful lot of offense and scuffling on D. Polar opposite a little bit of where we were a year ago.
I want to follow up once again, going quickly back to UCLA and Oregon, where you talked about the top-tier teams. If indeed you talked about UCLA's remaining schedule after they played the Ducks, if they go undefeated, are they going to have a chance then to get into the football playoff? Or will it still be, once again, East Coast bias, and they'll dominate back east?
Well, they'll always be East Coast bias, Jimmy. But no, an undefeated team's going to be in the playoffs, no question. I think a one-loss Pac-12 championship team will be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I absolutely. So USC got one loss right now by 1 point on the last play of the game. If USC runs the table and they finish 12-1, conference champs, they will be in the playoffs. There's no question to me. The only team that I would have any slight pause about saying that would be Oregon, because their one loss was so punishing in week one.
Yes.
The committee overlooked the gap in that one loss. But I believe a one-loss Pac-12 championship team is absolutely in the playoffs.
Ted, you've been doing the Pac-12 network games for many, many years. Is there a common denominator, something that you notice while doing these broadcasts, maybe midway or later in the year, that team that wins it all, as Jimmy alluded to, that usually wins the Pac-12 championship, that you can somewhat notice a little bit, maybe toward the end of the year, they've got that the other teams don't?
Well, yeah, that's great. I kind of like to think defense, but right now I'm scuffling because there really hasn't been great defense in the league this year.
Yeah.
The best defensive team, I haven't seen Washington State live. The best defensive team I have seen this year was Oregon State. Oregon State, nearly beat USC, and they had a great defensive scheme to slow down USC. No one else has even come close to that. So I'm kind of at a loss this year because I haven't seen great defense. But I'm looking around the country and seeing the scores around the country. I'm not seeing great defense. I mean, how good is Michigan's defense? I don't know, because they really haven't played anybody. I think they beat Penn State. That was the first real challenge game they've had. And they really don't have another one until the end of the year. They'll play Illinois and then Ohio State. So, Ohio State didn't play anybody, by the way, in their non-conference. I'm not really sure right now, other than the obvious Georgia, who has a really, really good defense.
And, Ted, it's interesting. You bring that up. I was thinking about that last week watching all these games, and sometimes it's the usual suspects, right? Utah, Oregon, USC's been missing the last several years, but even this year, I thought their defense. But I think you nailed it when you look at a defense that either has the potential or hasn't gotten it yet. But I always think of Utah. That's usually that team that gets it toward the end of the year.
Yeah, they have been. And their defensive front has gotten a little bit better as the season's gone along. Probably not where it's been the last few years. And what I'm saying with all this, Utah's defense is good. It's just not the level it has been the last few years. USC's defense, we know, is building. Oregon's defense, Oregon's defense has a chance to be pretty good. But no one's put it out there really week in and week out. And the team, again, that has looked okay on defense only on TV, which I've seen, is Washington State. And, of course, they don't get a whole lot of love in our league because of where they are. But the top teams, to me, they are the four teams we're talking about right now are all offense. They're all quarterbacks. And, guys, the last 2 weeks, you saw DTR do it for UCLA 2 weeks ago, and Cam Rice
2 minutes
this past Saturday.
Yeah.
Those quarterbacks played their best game in their college careers in the most important game they had. And that, to me, was incredible. That is a huge difference in our league this year. The quarterback play in this conference has shot up dramatically this year.
I know you're headed back to Notre Dame for a little alumni weekend. I don't know, is it leather sweater or leather jacket you're going to be wearing? And number two, what's the one spot that Ted Robinson has to go to every time you go back to South Bend?
Well, my favorite spot, which was a legendary bar called Corby's, is gone, sadly.
Okay.
That's how long I've been out of school. But I'm going back for a great thing. Actually, Notre Dame is honoring about 250 women who played sports in the early years of coeducation. Before sports were varsity, they're being put in the Monogram Club, and my wife is one of them, and that's why we're going back. So
Wow, that's great.
I'm thrilled for her. throw for Notre Dame. They're doing the right thing. And so it's my bye week. I get a bye week during the year.
Once in a while. Well, hey, Ted, I'm just glad there's an athlete in the family for crying out loud.
Amen. so were my kids. When I saw them, I said, thank God Mom could do something.
Hey, well, have a great weekend. You deserve a bye week once every 5 or 6 years. Absolutely, you deserve a bye week there. But have a great weekend. Hey, tell my good buddy Joe Montana, class of '79, that I said hi if you run into him.
Amen, Manuch. We'll do. We'll be in touch soon. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, Ted, as always. Have a great time. We'll see you later. That's Ted Robinson, and he is driven by All City Towing. All City Towing continuing to grow, and they are hiring. Look, if you need a new gig and you want to get paid well and also have some excellent benefits, the easiest way to apply at All City Towing is online. Just go to allcitytowing.com/careers. That's allcitytowing.com/careers. They are Arizona's largest towing, transport, and vehicle provider. Once again, allcitytowing.com. All right, it's our annual 15th Twin Peaks Fan Pick'em contest. It's all powered by Blue Moon and Coors Light. And all you have to do is just pick the pro games for a weekly man card. And by the way, this year's grand prize, a trip to Hawaii or $5,000 cash. Just go to fanpick'em.com and get signed up. All right, time now for this week's Twin Peaks Picks powered by Coors Light and Blue Moon. We want the fifth caller. That's caller number 5 right now, 602-260-9191. 602-260-9191. It is our Twin Peaks Challenge, and it's powered by Coors Light and Blue Moon. And Sarah is going to be our guest picker, and she's good. She's been on the show before, and she has beaten callers. So if you think you've got it, you want to get on the line right now, 602-260-9191. We'll take caller number 5 as we continue live here in Glendale. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
This is The Herd. Attention listeners. With Colin Cowherd.
Somebody allowed Matt LaFleur into the VIP club, and he never paid his dues. Beating the Lions twice a year and the Bears twice a year, and then thinking you won 13 games and you won 9 and faced the Lions and the Bears. What are they good at? What unit is overachieving? The answer is none.
This is The Herd. Tomorrow at 10. Listen to Fox Sports 910 anywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.
CAZ Sports Bar at Casino Arizona isn't just the Valley's home for sports anymore. Now we're also your new home for sports betting. And we're serving up everything you're hungry for. Non-stop action, fan favorite food, the coldest beer, and the hottest picks. See every game on our 46 screens and 2 theater quality projection screens. The Casino Arizona Sportsbook and
The Twin Peaks girls are the essential ingredient to the perfect lodge experience. Each week, our girl next door Twin Peaks contestant takes on a Fox Sports 910
Arch, our guy, Jimmy.
3 games. Get the most picks right and win a $25 man card for one of the 4 Valley Twin Peaks locations: Scottsdale, Phoenix, Glendale, and Tempe. Don't forget men's size Coors Light draft specials every Thursday at Twin Peaks.
Beer.
Time for Peaks Picks.
All right.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are live at a full house here in Glendale at Twin Peaks. It is a great crowd, and we are ready to rock right now, Manuch.
Yeah, we got Sarah here, and Sarah is a repeat picker. Last time you nailed it. You're out the charge. Sarah out here at Twin Peaks.
A repeat picker.
That's right. Yeah, repeat picker. Picking it. Give us a little idea what's going on out here. I mean, this is a jam-packed Saints Cardinals getting ready to go on here.
It is. I know. A lot of fans here tonight. A lot of Cardinals fans.
Yeah. I can't remember. You're a Cardinal fan, Bears fan.
Well, okay. I obviously Cardinals, but I was born from a Niners family. So I did a little bit of a switch, but I was originally Niners.
So you got... So there's a going on here. Hey, as a lot of folks come on out here, just give us an idea a little bit of some of the specials you guys got going on out here.
Yeah. So today for our specials, we're going to have our $6 Blue Moons, our $5.75 Coors Lights, and then also our house beer, which our Naughty Brunette is going to be going for $6.50 today. Okay,
good. So there's the great specials that are going on. All right, well, today Art from Glendale is who you're going to pick against. We know Art from, we've been doing this for 18 years. We know Art from way, way back.
Okay.
So we'll let women go first.
Okay.
And then we'll get Art's pick. So the games today are Saints at Cardinals, ASU at Stanford, UCLA at Oregon. Got to pick the winner and score. So let's get it going with the Saints at the Cardinals tonight. Kickoff at 5:15 over at State Farm Stadium. What do you got?
Obviously, the Cardinals are going to win.
Cardinals, you got this one?
I think the Cardinals have this one.
Hey, Big Art.
Or hope.
Oh, it's Manuch and Jimmy B. Rock's under the weather today. How you doing, big fella?
Man, I'm good. Great to hear you, Rock. Always tuned in, even though I ain't calling in.
Yeah, that's Manuch. Yeah, I know Roc and Manuch we sound, but it's Manuch. Yeah, come on.
Sorry,
That's all right. I know some things never change, Art. Come on, let's go already. All right, buddy.
Yeah, I gotta say what's up to Rock, man, because you know Rock. Hey, he sometimes don't like me like you do.
All right, who you got, Saints and/or Cardinals?
Come on, man, Cardinals.
All right. So you both got the cards going right there. Okay. All right, second game. ASU is going to travel up to Palo Alto. That's for Stanford. They call them Stanford Cardinal. Okay. Something about a tree. I have no idea, but it's a tree. Okay. ASU's at Stanford. Who do you got? And ASU, coming off 2 weeks ago, beat Washington.
Right.
Upset the then number 21 ranked Washington. Upset them at Sun Devil Stadium, Frank Kush Field. Who do you got?
ASU.
Got the Devils. All right.
The Little Devils.
All right, what do you got, buddy?
They playing on the farm, so I'm going to have to roll with Stanford on this.
All right. Okay, so you got ASU. You got Palo Alto. They call it the farm. Because it was farmland for years and years.
It's built, the campus was on a farm.
Beautiful on campus.
It is.
Learn something new every day.
Yep. Well, that's why we do this show.
Yeah. Sarah, hang with Jimmy B. and Manuch.
I know. I learned so much from you guys.
Jackson's learning every day. The Rook.
I'm going to take his job. I'm
you might.
Jack.
You might. Last game here, ladies and gentlemen. UCLA, Oregon. I need the winner and score. UCLA, undefeated UCLA.
Yep.
Once defeated Oregon, who's playing. It's in Oregon, Autzen Stadium, the absolute loudest place to watch a game in the Pac-12. Or, besides Arrowhead Stadium, in the world.
Okay.
Who you got?
UCLA.
Okay. What kind of score you got?
Probably like 17-27.
Okay. So 27, 17.
Yeah,
UCLA.
Okay.
In the upset.
All right. All right. What do you got there, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm just going to ride with my boy Chris Kelly because he's been playing. Hey, he got some boys playing, man, but she picked UCLA. I'm just only going to make it right. I'm going to ride with both Nick, and I'm going to ride with Oregon, man. 45-10.
45-10. He's got Oregon.
He's got Oregon breaking it out.
Wow.
Hey, Art, don't be a stranger, man. Don't be afraid to call in once in a while. But hey, thanks for the phone call. Good talking to you, man. All right.
I got you, man. Keep your boys up. here in a month, man.
There you go, Art.
Definitely do it.
Yeah.
Thank you. All there goes Art from Glendale, long-time listener, long-time caller. Good to see him back in the fold. So you got UCLA in a low-scoring 27-17 game.
Low scoring. I mean, I thought I did it kind of even. I thought I kept
Well,
it
it might be.
His was like, what, 10 points for one of
He
the
went
teams?
45-10. Well, here's the thing. Nobody plays defense anymore in college football. And they put flags on the quarterbacks because you're not allowed to hit them anymore. I'm sorry. That's the NFL.
Oh, God.
Dresses and skirts. That's a whole other show.
Oh.
All right, one more time. The special, but I want you also to talk about the cancer awareness and fundraising you have going on as well, too.
So here at Twin Peaks, actually all of Twin Peaks, we are raising money for breast cancer awareness. So at the end of your bill, you can either round up or donate however much you like. We have quite a few donations, and we're going to be going for a little bit
3
longer.
minutes.
So, and then also our specials again are going to be the $6 Blue Moon, the $5.75 Coors Light, and then the $6.50 Naughty Brunette, which is the house beer.
So if you make the donation, you get your name and you put it up?
Yeah, actually right behind me.
Yeah, I
all
see
of
it
our
over there.
donations.
Okay.
So yeah, you get a big slip. You get to write down how much, or it's like a little note, like "I love boobies" or "Save the tatas" or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun.
Can we say that on
Well, I
radio?
guess, Sarah
She
did.
just did.
And you should get- So if Jimmy kicks in a 50 burger, will he get more better spot like by himself?
I'll make him a better spot.
Oh, okay, good. So the more you donate, the better spot as far as your name.
It's good to be me.
It's great to be you.
All right, it looks like I will let you go. We always appreciate you coming up, and it's getting packed in here.
It's getting packed. Game starts soon, so let's see.
It's all right, Sarah, former 49er fan, now Cardinal fan.
Yes.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you for
Thanks
having
playing.
me.
You bet.
You're great as always. Thank you, Sarah,
2
so
minutes.
much. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now so apparently
27-17
yes.
is what she's saying.
Yeah.
UCLA over Oregon.
And Art went big.
Our boy Art went 45-10.
Yeah, he went blowout.
Yeah, you know what? This could be one of those. I don't know. This could be a 49-45, 52-49 game. I just got that feeling.
Yeah.
I got a little something for that. That's kind of, I'm going to hint where I'm leaning to as far as our dogs coming up in hour number 3.
Yes.
When we look at our dogs for the week, but. Yeah, it's going to be one of those games, and we had Ted Robinson on Pac-12 radio and Pac-12 TV, play-by-play voice. We haven't seen much defense, so whoever can garner their defense the last 4 games of the year, I think, may be that odds-on favorite to win the Pac-12. I mean, Oregon, Utah, UCLA.
I also liked what he said, Ted Robinson, about he believes that a one-loss Pac-12 team will make the college football playoff.
They'll win the Pac-12. I'm like you, Jax. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It depends. If it's Oregon USC in the final and USC wins in a dominant fashion,
right?
Then maybe, but you got to tell you, look at the SEC, the ACC,
the Big Ten.
The Big Ten.
Yeah.
If there are teams undefeated and they're undefeated going into a championship game and they barely get beat, they'd probably the Big 12 or ACC, that would probably get picked over a one-loss Pac-12
Probably
team.
right about that. Hey, it's hour number 3, and we're coming up here on it, so make sure that you stay tuned. In fact, Howard Balzer is going to give us his insight into the upcoming game tonight between the Cardinals and the Saints. It's all coming up next, everybody, live here in Glendale. It is indeed Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports.
Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy
That's right.
on Fox Sports 910.
Hey everybody, it's our final hour as we are hanging out in Glendale here at the Twin Peaks. It is jam-packed in here. Lots of Cardinals fans, and there are some Saints fans that have entered the building as well. We're going to do another hour, and we're really going to focus in right now on the Cardinals. Welcome back. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Jax is here. Ben is back in the studio making sure that we are on track, which is an extremely difficult job in itself. So let's go.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, Manuch is pretty simple. Little NFL game this evening, the Saints and the Cardinals.
Just a little in a Thursday night football game.
But the key on this is that both teams are limping into this game tonight.
Yeah, you look at the Saints, I'll start there, and Jax, I'll let you pick up with the Cardinals. Right now, Michael Thomas will be out, Jarvis Landry, Adam Trotman, the tight end, he's out. Andres Pete, young man out of Corona High School, he's out. You look at their defense. Right now, it looks like Lattimore, the one corner, is out completely. Now, Paulson Adebo is questionable. So you look at that, the offensive side and the defensive side, they're playing with backups. Even some of the backups for the Saints are out. As a matter of fact, the backup to Pete, he's questionable.
Okay.
And then you look at the some of the other guys, they're questionable and or dinged. Folks, you might dang near have the New Orleans Saints JV team playing this Arizona Cardinals team. Jax, I'll give you the latest on the latest. By the way, Andy Dalton will be starting
tonight
for the Saints tonight. He will be starting. It looks as though Jameis Winston will be Taysom Hill in the backup.
Yes.
And Winston will be the emergency quarterback if needed, Jax.
For the Arizona Cardinals, running back James Conner, questionable, will be a game-time decision, as well as Prater, Trayvon Mullen, and Jalen Thompson, who hasn't played since that Eagles hit. And then marked out will be Dennis Gardeck, linebacker, and two offensive linemen, including Rodney Hudson, Justin Pugh, and Darrell Williams at running back is also out.
Did you say Zaven Collins was? I knew he was questionable the other day. It looks like he's going to go today. He and Isaiah Simmons.
It looks like Zaven Collins will go today.
Okay, and also there were guys activated as well on the Cardinal roster for tonight.
Yeah, Rodrigo Blankenship, kicker, will be activated. I would expect him to have some kickoff duties here tonight. Duties tonight as well. And then Cody Ford. I want to see Cody Ford step into this offensive role. Max Garcia is the starter right now, but what we've seen from Max Garcia, he's not a really reliant left tackle.
Correct.
I think Cody Ford has more of that. Him and Kyler, they play together at Oklahoma. I'd love to see him in there, but it's going to be interesting with this offensive line. How can they stop Cameron Jordan? Because he's been elusive.
Well, and the other two guys, you got a 4-3 front. Last week it was a 34 front by Seattle. They went from a 4-3 to 34. It's the pressure, and how's that pressure handled? So it looks like Eno Benjamin, Darrell Williams also out. So Ingram and Benjamin, I feel most likely are going to be the running backs.
But they activated Clement as well.
Yeah, he's going to be available. He was available last week. He'll be more of a special teams guy. So you look at, D-Hop will be in the fold. Robbie Anderson, what did they say, Jax? 10 to 15% of the snaps he's going to get. That's what they're talking about. Then you got Rondale Moore, Greg Dortch, A.J. Green. Got to step up, A.J. Where is Greg Dortch been?
I was just going to ask you that question.
Did he make it to the games, the last couple of games?
Maybe he missed the bus.
He's there. Yeah, he's there.
Is Uber bringing him tonight?
I have no idea.
Kid was having a...
He was sensational.
Doing really well.
Yes.
But you mentioned the offensive line. Zach Ertz, Trey McBride, and Steven Anderson will be healthy, ready to go. Yeah, I'm like you, Jax, in reference to Max Garcia at that left guard position. DJ and Beecham have been struggling. Will Hernandez, Rodney Hudson out again.
Yeah.
And with Sean Harlow being the guy, how much will that affect the team? And I think when you have a banged-up offensive line, banged-up receivers, banged-up running game, because let's face it, if Connor can't go,
right,
Cliff Kingsbury's play calling has got to be strategic. How am I going to utilize my passing game if I can't run the football? Now, you should be able to run the football a little bit. So with D-Hop in the game, hell, they might target him, 12 times, maybe catches 8 to 10. Robbie Anderson, maybe you take a couple shots with him, a couple deep go route, post corner, deep dig route, something where he can at least be a threat to take the top off. But guys, the guy they've got to get off the schneid is Rondale Moore.
Mm-hmm.
This kid's a 4.240 kid. He can come out of the backfield. He can do the jet sweeps.
Right.
You can do a
He
slip
can play in the
screen.
slot.
You can set him up to. I want to see this kid get loose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he's been caged up for the last 2 years. Get this kid loose. He's a home run hitter. Get him in the seam and take a couple shots with him.
Yeah, you talk about a play that can energize a whole team. I haven't really seen much explosive plays from this Arizona Cardinals offense, right?
Yeah.
With Rondale Moore, Brown unfortunately out. I want to see him get loose and get after this defense and show, hey, we're going to take those deep shots against your depleted secondary and spark this offense. I feel like that's the only way you can spark an offense is having Robbie Anderson and Rondale Moore up the seam.
Here's as a play caller.
Okay.
I'm going to take 5 shots.
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to probably get a couple shots when they blitz. So whether it's a side adjust or they got press corners and you bring the safeties, a guy's going to run a fade. I get a chance to take a shot down the field with a fade. But I'm going to go max protect at least 5 times in this game. I'm going to take a shot with either Rondale Moore, I'm going to take a shot with D-Hop, or Robbie Anderson. I'm going to throw it deep. I'm going to go route, deep post court, whatever.
Yeah.
And if it's picked off, it's as good as a punt. Okay, that's my thought process because I feel my defense can hold this offense. You got to get a shot once in a while.
Yep.
Take 5 shots. I mean, whatever it has to be, give your guys like, hey, they're coming deep to me. Give him some confidence.
Yes,
you
sure. Throw the ball to him.
Yeah,
let him try to win that battle, which brings us to our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. And for a free quote, repair, or installation, just head to state48roofing.com. Follow them on social media, searching #SexyRoofStatus. And it's just what Manuch and Jax were discussing. How many combined catches will DeAndre Hopkins and newly acquired Robbie Anderson have in tonight's game against the Saints? Your options are 1, 3 to 5, 2, 6 to 8, 3, 9 to 12, 4, 13 to 15. And you can just go to Roc and Manuch Twitter and cast your ballot. Where are you on that?
Well, right now, I was saying like 9 to 12.
Okay.
Currently, this is how it stands. 3 to 5 is at 13.3%.
Okay.
Leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
6 to 8, 46.7%. 9 to 12, 40%. Excuse me. And 13 to 15, 0%. I think a lot of that's because Robbie Anderson, if they target him 4 times, just came in, Monday, Tuesday?
Right.
There may be 3 or 4 or 5 packages for him. But I think D-Hop's the guy. If you target him, I say at least 10 to 12 times. Hell, they targeted, Hollywood Brown, 14 times in one game.
Yep.
You target him 12 times and he catches 9 to 10, you pretty much have that mark. So I think the 9 to 12, I would hope. But you know what? If in doubt, throw it toward D-Hop.
Yeah.
He's got them big old Mickey Mouse hands, them long hands.
Let him win the ball.
Extra long gloves, jump ball, lay it out here, wherever it is. Just put it in his neighborhood. He'll catch it.
And if you're Kingsbury, this is a primetime game. I mean, guns are blazing. Release all the deep shots you have, explosive plays. I mean, why not? Your job's on the line. Thursday Night Football, everyone's going to talk about this game tomorrow. Let it loose.
Oh, by the way, Jimmy,
yes,
job's on the line.
That's it.
Jack's kind of snuck that one in here.
He did, which was my question to you, because we heard national pundits today saying if things go south for the Arizona Cardinals, there could be a change in the head coaching position.
As they say in Texas, could be. It's interesting here, Twin Peaks. We're looking at all the 1190 TVs that they have in there, just everywhere. ESPN, they've been showing Cliff Kingsbury, question mark. They've been showing D-Hop. They've been showing Kyler Murray. They've been showing the Red Rifle, that being out of TCU, Andy Dalton.
Right.
Not a lot of Saints. The emphasis has been on the Cardinals.
Yes.
Because everybody feels they should win this game. But there's like this, the Cardinals should win this game, ... question mark, exclamation. I think a lot of the pundits are watching to say, if the Cardinals can't get off the schneid against the JV team of the Saints, then there is definitely something wrong. And there could be, as they say, deep in Dallas-Fort Worth, a change at head coach.
And the name that has been bounced around the most today is that Sean Payton.
I don't, Jax, I don't see any reason why this Cardinals team can't win this game.
The Saints are a tough team. They played the Bengals pretty tough last week.
They were ahead in that game. They were ahead in that game.
And you know what? Yes, and they can score. We talked about that. But the Cardinals held Seattle, who's one of the top scoring offenses in the league.
Yeah.
They pretty much shut them down. A lot of pressure on Geno. They shut down DK Metcalf. And the receiver, Lockett. They pretty much shut them down. Where they were vulnerable, though, is with the tight end all over again. So I think they got the second or third team tight end playing. But, I mean, they can shut down high-scoring offenses. But I tell you what, if this New Orleans team gets out in front, scores early and often, Katie barred the door, the Cardinals can't get into a catch-up mode with this Saints defense. You just can't. Get the lead, get out in front, continue to put more pressure on this defense, take the shots, and take Kyler. Hate to tell you, Kyler Murray, you're cashing about, what, $250K a week with that. This is on you, bro. This is your game. This is on you. That's what they pay the big bucks to step up in a desperate, dire need game by this Cardinals team.
I don't think Kingsbury wants to hire a realtor for his nice house either. And get that sold, so.
Yeah, and maybe if he gets a lot for his money, if I get socks with those shoes. Sockless. Is that the style, by the way?
Yeah, it is. I'm wearing sockless.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. Not like you, Manuch, because you're old. So we are here at Twin Peaks in Glendale. Hey, want a new backyard patio grill set? Well, now is your chance. Just text PEAKS, that's P-E-A-K-S, PEAKS, to 55678. You're automatically entered for an opportunity to win that big prize. It is courtesy of Twin Peaks, Blue Moon, and Coors Light. Now, our next segment. We love underdogs. That's right. It is our underdog segment, which, by the way, was a very interesting cartoon. But it is underdogs that we're going to be speaking about here at Twin Peaks. And that segment is brought to you by the new sports book at the CAZ Sports Bar at Casino, Arizona. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out?
Most weekend bettors prefer to lay their money down on favorites because they can't get their head around backing an underdog. Not Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. They're all about the dogs. Time now for the guys' dogs
Guys are hot.
of the week on Fox Sports 910.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We're here in Glendale. It's a packed house here at Twin Peaks in Glendale. We're getting you set up for the game between the Cardinals and the Saints. But right now, we're going to do our little college or pro Who Let the Dogs Out underdog football segment.
Well, last week, folks, was a miracle for not only our group, but for myself. We went 5-0 as a group.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Seriously?
And I got my first win.
Well, then, hey, if it's a miracle, then there could be a miracle with D-Hop in the game this weekend. And maybe that's a theme for the Cardinals.
But yeah, just to recap, Rock picked USC plus 3.5. That covered. Manuch picked the Giants plus 5. They ended up winning the game. Jimmy picked Nebraska plus 14. I believe Nebraska won as well.
No, they lost by 7.
They lost by 7, but they covered.
Yep.
Jets plus 8 against the Packers was a bold pick by Ben, and they ended up winning.
Yeah.
So Ben got that as well.
that?
And then I picked Tennessee plus 8.5. Go Rocky Top over Bama, and I won.
We should have the song Celebration. I mean, for you to mix in a win once in a while.
I know, right?
Every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut. Absolutely. Jax, look at you. You got to hear that.
Unbelievable. All right. By the way, we're going to all donate $25 to Humane Society all season long for the losses that we incur. That's right. We will donate $25 to the Arizona Humane Society. By the way, if you'd like to match us, let us hear from you. Okay? But that's at the end of this season.
All right. So Rock's not here. So what's Rock got for his dog?
All right. Here we go then. Boise State Broncos in the Mountain West at the Air Force Falcons, and Boise State getting 3.5. The Broncos coming off the bye week, and Boise State won back-to-back games and 4 of the last 5. Dirk Cutter, by the way, is running the offense now at Boise State.
You know, it's interesting because you think of Dirk Cutter. He's been building a home up in Coeur d'Alene. Build home. They go, hey, Dirk, I know you're doing a whole lot of nothing. And you got like about $80 million in the bank.
He does.
We just fired our head coach. We're not asked to be a head coach. Could you just come back and run the offense for us? And you're starting to see some prowess with all that. All right, what do you got for me there, Big Ben?
Manuch, you played the game, so this should be a no-brainer.
They're all my dogs.
Give us your dog of the week.
UCLA at 6-0, taking on a 5-1 Oregon team. Oregon's going to give them -6. So I'm going to take UCLA as my dog to cover. This could go either way. This one, if it's 45-42, I cover. UCLA undefeated. Oregon to the top quarterbacks. UCLA's quarterback, DTR, taking on Bo Nix. I mean, this could be the shootout at the OK Corral.
Yep.
First one to 55. Or, as Sarah Smile picked, could be UCLA 27-17. They win outright. I've got to go. I'm going to go with them being the dog at -6 or +6. It could go either way, the way this Oregon team is playing.
I like the pick. I like it.
Okay.
Finally, he's not Jimmy the Greek, but he's been calling the game for over 40 years.
What about the dogs? What about the dogs?
Jimmy B, what's your underdog pick of the week?
All right, so because I watched that Alabama-Tennessee game and how wild that was, and how Tennessee could score with the pass against that Alabama porous defense, I'm taking Mississippi State plus 21 at Alabama because Mississippi State can score.
Yeah.
They've only dropped one football game, and they can put points on the board. Do I think Bama wins? Yes, but I'm going to take that plus 21 and take Mississippi State.
That could be another one of those first 1 to 45 games.
I could be first 1 to 55.
You always thought that you never thought you'd see these kind of scores in the SEC.
Right.
You expect to see them in the pack. Maybe
Big 12.
Big 12. ACC not so much, and Big 10 not so much. But plus 21.
Yeah, especially with Mississippi State. They got Will Rogers at quarterback.
That's it.
25 passing touchdowns so far. He's a stud.
He is a stud. Yep, he is. All right, so let's go next with Ben.
Ben, what do you got there, bud?
Oh, just the poor guy behind the glass who's leading the two guys that are leading the radio show. 5-1 so far. Maybe the guy behind the glass that sits back here and gets the show going knows what he's talking about. But I don't know. Maybe the rest of you guys will mix in a few wins these next few weeks. Anyways, I'm going to take the Giants to cover +4 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. As you can see, the Jaguars are skidding here, and the Giants might not have the best players, but they have the coach of the year right now in Brian Daboll, who is absolutely leading that team into not just basically picture-perfect football, but putting them in positions to succeed. I like the Giants to outright win this game, but since that's not the game, I'll take them to cover +4.
Okay, that was way too much for a rookie to be on the airwaves right there. Way too much. Just state it and move on.
Question. This rookie's just wondering, what's your record in the dog sticks?
I knew he was going to
I think this rookie's 5-1.
Yeah, give me a few weeks. There. I'll get you. All right, Jax, what do you got there, buddy?
Yeah, luckily it's a long season, coming off of a win. Luckily. So I'm going to take Oklahoma State +6.5 at home against Texas. I think this was a tough loss last week against TCU. I think they bounced back at home. I don't see them. They might lose, but I don't know about 6.5 there. I think that's too many points for Oklahoma State. Good matchup. I like the Cowboys.
Well, I got to tell you what, Okie State jumped out early on TCU last week. Did. TCU basically found the defense. I think they left them in the locker room in the first half. Yeah. Came out, shut down Okie State. They're like, wow. And they just lit it up. And I stayed away from my K-State TCU game this week.
I know you did. I thought you were taking.
No, I'm going to stay away from that. I'm going to watch that and secluded, right? Watch that game, and hopefully we make some. That's too tough to call. TCU's.
How has no one said anything about Jackson being 1-5 and literally runs a sports gambling show on Saturday?
Well, those are just his underdogs. That's all.
Oh, way to put me on blast.
Yeah, he's like I said, Rook, you'd be seen and not heard, okay?
He's bragging because he's 5-1 on dogs. That's it.
Hey, he's got you right where he wants you, man.
That's a setup.
He got you right where he wants you. He's gonna, it's like one of those, pool players, those sharks. Basically lose. Then when the big money is on the table, all right, 8-ball corner pocket. Bounce off and then bang. Game, set, match.
All right, let's go to the results of our State 48 roofing. It's your call question of the day.
As we stated a little bit earlier, how many combined catches will Hopkins and Anderson have in tonight's Saints game? You can still go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. Here's your choices.
Okay.
3-5, 6-8, 9-12, which I voted, or 13-15.
That's where I voted.
Leader in the clubhouse. 6-8, 46.7%. Second place, 9-12 at 40%. 3-5 is at 13.3%. Nobody, absolutely nobody, zero, zilch, nada, zipit.com are saying 0%.
There will be as soon as we get into this commercial break, because that's what I'm going to vote for.
You vote 13-15?
Yes. Remember, it's combined. So if Robbie Anderson gets 4 catches, all right, and then you got 10 catches by Hopkins, you're right. You're in. I mean, you said on the show you want to throw the ball to Hopkins as many times as you possibly can.
Did you just do the K-State math?
I did.
Jimmy? Good job. That's 14.
Yeah, boy, 14. That's what I'm saying.
I just don't think Robbie Anderson's going to get
the
that many targets.
The line is 13-15. I landed right in the middle.
You spoke. Well, I'll tell you what. If it's 14-15, here's my thought on that.
All right.
If you've got D-Hop gets 12 catches.
Yeah.
And you got Robbie with 3 or 4. Probably going to be mop-up catches. You want to see a balance there. But if they're having to go to D-Hop many times often, that means they're trying to get back in the game.
All right. I think they're going to struggle to run the football, and that's where I think the passing is going to be even more than what we've anticipated for this game.
And I think, from the standpoint of Dortch playing a lot, you're going to see D-Hop tap out once in a while, get a little blow.
Right.
Because football games versus running routes against air, whatever, it's a whole different realm. And don't you know, the Saints want a tattoo.
30.
One D-Hop.
Oh, boy.
Hey, yo, D, welcome back. They give him a couple.
We're going to hit you.
Little love taps, little forearm shivers.
I got you.
I'll give you one of those, Jimmy, but you may not show up the next segment.
I'd probably be knocked out. That would be my situation. Hey, the Cardinals and the Saints are the game tonight. Both teams coming in tonight's contest all banged up. We're going to get even more insight. Howard Balzer of PHNX.com is going to be our guest. Right here, we are live in Glendale. It's a packed house at Twin Peaks. It's Roc and Manuch and Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Seven seconds. 6 seconds. Murray hits it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught. It is caught. DeAndre Hopkins.
You guys are hot 5 seconds.
Yes. It's Murray magic.
Well, everybody hopes that they see that again this evening, courtesy of CBS for that highlight right there. We welcome in now Howard Balzer. You can follow Howard on Twitter at HBalzer721. My man, how are you, and are you ready for tonight's game?
I am ready for it. I don't know if the Cardinals and the Saints are, but we'll find that out in a couple of hours. And so we'll all be wondering if, the last 2 weeks of Thursday night football, I think we've seen a total of 40 points scored in 2 games with 1 touchdown, and each winning team scoring a whopping 12 points. Will we have a better show tonight? I think that's what a lot of people are wondering.
Howard Balzer is the Cardinal NFL reporter for GoPHNX.com, and he is our guest right now. All right, Howard, it is our estimation that with both these teams as injured as we have discussed, that DeAndre Hopkins is going to get a lot of balls thrown his way. Do you feel that as well, even though he has missed the first 6 games?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that. I guess it depends on what a lot of balls is, but if you look at it and say he gets 10 targets, what's that? 2.5 targets per quarter. I think that's realistic. I think they might choke. It's going to be very interesting to see how they approach it, but also just having him on the field will, hopefully will open things up for some other guys. So that's going to be the interesting thing to watch in this game. And will Robbie Anderson get some snaps? We'll find out in a few minutes if he's active for this game. I would suspect he would be. And even if he doesn't get a lot of snaps, heck, you put him on the field for 10, 15 plays with that speed, then that's another thing that the defense has to respect. So this could be a kind of a new look Cardinals team on that offense with Hopkins back and possibly Robbie Anderson. So it's going to be interesting to see when it all begins in about an hour and a half.
Howard, I'm just interested to see what the strategy is for Cliff Kingsbury in reference to having Anderson and D-Hop and et al. But the one guy I think they've got to get off the schneid I'm looking forward to seeing is Rondale Moore, how they utilize him. It's about time they unleashed this young man, and he's running a 4.2. We haven't seen quite the explosiveness out of him aside from everybody else out there.
No, it's a good point, and I think we started to see a little bit more of him, after the first game where it was all a whole bunch of short stuff, and then the last 2 weeks they were able to get it to him, a little bit into space, and he did make some plays. And I think now that's the key. As I mentioned about having Hopkins there, I mean, Rondale Moore had some real production last year in the beginning of the season when DeAndre Hopkins was there. And so, like I said, just his presence can open things up for other players. So, yeah, I think that's a big key to this offense. Is getting him involved.
Okay, let me go then to the running game or lack thereof. It's Eno Benjamin tonight. Once again, could that running game just be stifled, which means Kyler Murray might have to put it up 40, 45 times?
Well, you hope not. You hope that that's not the case. And so, but you're right. You do have to run the ball better. We're waiting to see if James Conner will be active. I don't even know if it's 50-50, but you have to make some plays in that running game and keep the defense on it. And once again, I sound like a broken record here, but perhaps having more of those weapons, it does open up the running game a little bit more. But those guys, him and Keontae Ingram last week on their combined carries, averaged only 2.4 yards per rush. That's not going to cut it, obviously, in the NFL. So, and this Saints defense is a pretty good one, although we do have to note that they won't have Marshawn Lattimore, their best cornerback tonight, which does lead you to believe that they're going to be taking some shots in the passing game.
Howard Balzer joining us here on the right, too, to get us on. Howard, the one thing I think that whether it's Prater or Blankenship, whoever kicks, and I know Prater's going to be a game-time decision, I'll also be curious, even if he can kick, if they keep, and I know Blankenship's active, if they keep him active for kickoffs, what have you. But all that being said, don't you think if you're within 35 to 45 yards, I just hope Cliff Kingsbury learned a valuable lesson that in a close game, you've got to get the points and just trust your kicker.
No, exactly. You got to trust your guy. I can see why they didn't trust Amendola, but if that's the case, then why was he on the team?
Exactly.
Maybe they should have went to Blankenship. Maybe they should have went to Blankenship last week, and then at least they would have had that full week of practice for him to get comfortable, with the holder. And then if he has to kick this week, he would have had last week to get comfortable. Whereas this week, they practiced, but they didn't have a whole lot of it. But I'm sure he did spend a lot of time with his holder. So we'll know on Prater, shortly if he can kick. But I would think it could be a chance that even if he is active, like you said, that both of these guys could be active, because the one thing you wouldn't want Prater doing is aggravating the injury on a kickoff. Let him do the kickoffs and let Blankenship, let him do the field, the placement, and let Blankenship do the kickoff. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens, or if they just say with Prater, hey, let's give him another 10 days until they play next, and just go with Blankenship and hope that they can count on him if there's key situations in the kicking game.
Howard, I truly believe this is Kyler Murray's game to win or lose. The heck with, I don't care about, I know the heat's on with Cliff Kingsbury. This is Kyler Murray. This is why you pay this kid the big bucks to rebound. My whole thing today in tonight's game is E squared. Energy and execution. That's my theme for tonight. But this is on Kyler Murray alone. This is why it's big boy ball. Put your big boy pants on. He needs to lead this team to victory tonight.
Well, no, he's a big part of it. But they also have to be able to protect him. And that's a good defensive line that the Saints have. And a lot of the pressure on Kyler has been coming up the middle, where, of course, last week they didn't have Rodney Hudson for a second game. By the way, last year with Rodney Hudson, the Cardinals were 10-3 and 2-3 in games he didn't play. And now they've lost Justin Pugh, so they have to go with Sean Harlow at center and Max Garcia at guard. Although I should point out that Cody Ford, who would have been the starter when Pugh went out, but he had an injury that he suffered 3 days before the season opener. He was activated from injured reserve today and really has not had a real practice since he got hurt late in that first week of the season. So I don't know. I would think if he activated from injured reserve, it means he's going to be active for the game. I don't think he'll start, but if Max Garcia is struggling, who knows? They might figure, hey, we got to put Cody Ford out there and tighten this up, because you still, I go back to there was a quote that Matt LaFleur had this week talking about the Packers and what happened last week when they had 10 points and 278 yards with a Hall of Famer at quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers came out after the game and said, we need to simplify things. And LaFleur said Monday, he said, I don't even know what that means. The bottom line is players have to do their job. And then he said, if you don't block better, you can't do anything. It's not about scheme, it's about blocking better. And that's what this offensive line has to come and play a good game tonight. And it'll be key, like I said, in that interior with Hudson and Garcia.
All right, let me follow up with something here, because they have a Swiss Army knife for a football player in Taysom Hill. Will they do something different on defense, Howard, meaning the Cardinals? Will they put a spy on that guy and wherever he lines up, or are they just going to play straight up defense?
3 minutes.
He's in the game, and we don't even know who's going to play quarterback. I'm not sure it's been announced yet, but all indications were it was going to be Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton is starting now, Howard. It is official. Andy Dalton will be starting.
Yep.
So, but they will use Taysom Hill. And so obviously when he's in there, you've got to be cognizant of all the different things that he can do. And most of it is running. And so you just got to he's going to get some yards when they use him, but you just have to make sure you don't give up those big explosive plays, which he is capable of. So yeah, that's going to be a key. I don't know if it means having a spy on him. This Cardinals defense, the one thing about this defense, it's really played well since the second half of the Las Vegas game. And all the numbers indicate that. They've been pretty healthy on defense, and they've got good, fast guys on that defense that you hope can, keep up with Taysom Hill. You don't want him to wreck the game, but you've also got to be obviously confident of Alvin Kamara. If he's their best offensive player, the Saints won't have Jarvis Landry. They don't have Michael Thomas. So Alvin Kamara is the guy coming out of the backfield and on running plays that you've got to make sure doesn't wreck the game. And the one thing about this Cardinals defense is throughout these first 6 games, they've been able to really slow down and sometimes almost shut down the best offensive players on the other team. And that, to me, is more Alvin Kamara tonight than anybody else.
Howard, we'll leave you with this. A lot of chatter on the national circuit, i.e. radio, national TV, that if this Cardinal team does not beat the JV team of the New Orleans Saints, that Cliff Kingsbury job is at jeopardy. Just wanted to see if you heard what chatter or scuttlebutt you've heard it this morning on national shows, this afternoon. We're out here at Twin Peaks in Glendale, all the NFL Network, ESPN. There's a question mark with Cliff Kingsbury being the focus on with this game.
It's not unusual for that to happen, because that's where we are now. It's fire the coach. I would be
1 minute.
surprised if he would get fired after only 7 games with everything that has happened to this team in the first 6-7 weeks. And I mean, he mentioned the JV team for the Saints, but heck, at times it's been a JV team for the Cardinals.
Good point.
That's just a realistic way, of looking at it, at least on that offense. So let's see how that, if you go out there and you play better and you're showing some things, and DeAndre Hopkins can have an impact, and I think he can, especially on third down.
Yeah.
I mean, last week's game, guys, the Cardinals actually started much better than they had.
Sure.
They were 4 for their first 5 on third down. After that, they didn't make another first down on third down, and there was 11 opportunities. 0 for 11 after a 4 for 5 start. Well, that's where DeAndre Hopkins can help. That's where other players obviously have to step up, but also a bunch of those third and longs and the third down plays, there were sacks that created the third and long and sacks on third down. And so I think a big piece of this team is they all say it. The confidence is a lot better. They just have a better feeling when DeAndre Hopkins is out there. Well, it's up to them to show it tonight in this game.
It's always great, pal, when you come on the show. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be talking to you. Thank you, Howard.
All right, guys, take care.
There you got it. That's Howard Balzer. He is the Cardinals NFL reporter for GoPHNX.com, and you can follow Howard on Twitter at HBalzer721. All right, coming up, it's our Learner and Row one call. That's all. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. We are in Glendale at Twin Peaks. Fox Sports.
Hang back, Dan.
Call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
Shotgun. Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray heaves it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught. It is caught.
Guys are hot. 5 seconds.
Hopkins. Miraculous. It's Murray magic.
Thank you to CBS for that. Yep, the Hail Murray. Will we see that tonight? That'll be interesting. In a wreck and need a check, just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. That is our Lerner and Rowe one call. And as always, you can go to lernerandrowe.com. They can help you get a free consultation. Again, one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Now, let's find out what's going on tonight.
What's on Tap, powered by 72 Soul. A look at the top sports action tonight on TV. Get our price, a higher price at 72soul.com.
All right, tonight we're going to all go on the Cards again. The Saints.
Yep.
About 5:15 that'll get going on Prime Video. I believe Channel 10.
That's correct.
Is going to be carrying that as well, too, for those that don't have Prime Video. The college circuit, Virginia at the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. That'll be at 4:30 on ESPN. Troy at South Alabama.
Sunbelt.
That's right, 4:30. That'll be on ESPNU. Got a little baseball tonight.
Yep.
The ALCS game 2. Yankees, and you have the Yankees in Cleveland. There'll be Yankees at Cleveland. Yankees at Houston. 4:30 on TBS.
You got Cleveland on the
I know, man. The Guardians, the Indians. Yeah, Milwaukee at Philadelphia. That'll be at 4:30 on TNT. A little TNT Thursday night basketball. Clippers at the Lakers. That'll be at 7 o'clock on TNT. And as I mentioned, tonight at Prime, 5:15. Don't forget about the Yotes. Yotes are at Montreal. That'll be at 4 o'clock. That'll be on Valley Sports. So that's what's on tap, powered every day on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, by America's leading home selling program, 72 Sold. How can you not know by now that 72 Sold is the easiest way to sell your home for top dollar? So for the easiest, fastest, most profitable way to sell your home, head to 72sold.com to get a higher price for your home. Go to 72sold.com.
All right, let's kind of get into this and set the stage. We only have a few minutes left here at a packed Glendale Twin Peaks. Jax, I'll start with you. How do you see the game play out tonight, and who wins?
Yeah, I'm going to go 24-20 Cardinals. I think it's a mid-scoring type of game, but I think this is a must-win for the Arizona Cardinals. We mentioned last week, you want to be 3-3 when D-Hop gets back. That's not going to happen. I think 3-4 sounds better than 2-5. I think
does.
When you're 2-5, it's going to be scramble time. Ooh. I mean, it's going to be a lot of, especially tough games you got after this.
Sure.
I'm going to go Cardinals here. It's must-win for them.
Jimmy, I'm going to look at this Cardinals game. I'm going to go Cardinals 28-25.
Okay.
I like that because Saints can score. Cardinals, I think, hopefully come off the schneid with D-Hop. I think Robbie Anderson helps as far as at least a threat to back off those safeties. You got a new corner on the left side, and I think that they're going to be able to incorporate much more offense. I think Kyler Murray realizes that this is a must-win game, and he seems to play so much better under urgency. So I think a 28-25 game. And on top of that, I think Cliff Kingsbury got to pull out all the stops.
He's got to.
I think he feels the pressure. He feels the heat, rightfully so. This offense is underachieved. So hopefully the two JV teams that are playing tonight, that the Cardinals have got the better JV team to win this game. 28-25, Jimmy. That's what I got.
All right. I'm going to be a little wacky because I've been smoking wacky tobacco. So this is the way I view this game. I also have the Cardinals winning, but I have it 31-28 Cardinals. And I have Manuch's new favorite player, Rodrigo Blankenship, or I have to say it correctly, Rodrigo Blankenship kicks a 37-yard field goal with time running out in the game to win it for the Cardinals.
Look at you. You want the irony of it all, Jimmy. With the young kicker that's had, 3 days of practice.
That's all he needs. That's all he needs.
He's in kicking shape.
He is. Yeah. And he's an NFL kicker. So this is what I envision in tonight's game. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I really do. Even though it's Thursday night, and Manuch, you always preach that guys are only by Thursday 60%, if that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the battle of attrition.
I think energy and execution, E².
Yep.
Plenty of Mountain Dew, Rock Star. Drink a lot of that, fellas. Keep your energy up. They're going to have to come out. You just got to. Guys, and Jax, you know this. It's like the third week of 2-a-days, right? And you got a scrimmage at 9 o'clock in the morning, your third or fourth week of training camp, and you're like, oh, man. And this is going to determine who they keep or who they don't keep.
2 minutes.
And you got to find it. You got to find a way to get yourself up and to be able to perform.
Breaking news, running back James Conner out, and kicker Matt Prater also out as well.
There you go. I just called it right there. There's my man.
Your boy, Blankenship.
There you
come in and get the game winner.
What's on Tap is powered every day on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B by America's leading home selling program, 72 Sold. How can you not know by now that 72 Sold is the fastest, easiest way to sell your home for top dollar? So, for the fastest, easiest way and the most profitable way to sell your home, head to 72sold.com to get a higher price for your home. Again, 72sold.com. We did that twice so they could get a little more love.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Here on the show.
Making sure you were paying attention to my reads out there.
Straight. I just wanted to make sure that 72
Speaking of somebody that might need some Mountain Dew and a Red Bull.
I'm on freaking fire right now. What did I just call? I just called Blankenship kicking the winning field goal tonight.
Let's just hope he's not kicking blanks in tonight's game, that's for sure.
And Jax just came on and informed everybody that
Rodrigo Blankenship will be playing. Prater will be sitting the bench.
There you go. I look like a genius on this show.
Anything else you want to repeat before we get out of here, Jimmy?
I'm good. I'm Jim, and Manuch is Manuch, and Jax is Jax, and Ben is hanging out behind the glass.
Tomorrow we're going to be at right turn. We'll have Sean Salisbury. George get some thoughts about this game. Scott Spreitzer.
Yeah.
Kevin Rowe, a little piss picks as well, too. So, hey, Cardinals, is it in the cards that they win tonight's game over the Saints?
Lord help us. I'm glad this show is finally over. It's a great time here in Glendale at Twin Peaks. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Enjoy the game. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports.